Elmore County travels to Reeltown, September 26th.
Elmore County and Reeltown. That should be a good game.
Horseshoe Men, Elmore County's homecoming.
Okay. Well, some good games. And we don't forget the Panthers either. We know they're right down the road, down 63, and from here in Alex City. So a lot of great teams out of Elmore County. And I asked you, Brian, Saturday who you felt like would win for it, and you said Leeds. That's a pretty good pick. They're a strong team. Javier Mitchell's brother is on that team. A lot of great athletes. They open up on ESPN with Madison Academy. That's another great game here in the high school segment. So, Brian, we appreciate your call, buddy.
Leeds travels to Elmore County, September the 19th.
That'll be a good game. So, Brian, we appreciate it, buddy.
Go Wildcats.
Thank you so much. Go Wildcats. He's a Panthers fan, but he likes Benjamin Russell, so we won't. We'll always let him say go Wildcats.
That Leeds-Dayville game is going to be one that I think just is going to be one of the most talked about games leading up to it.
Premier game in the state.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be one. Both teams will come in highly ranked, probably with great records, and it's just going to be one of those games where you haven't seen it, and so you're excited to see, because that gives a test of where the program is for Dayville, because we know that going into the playoffs, they usually just run into one opponent that just seems to shut it out for them. But this will be another opportunity for them to test the status of the program.
256-234-6221 to be part of the program. We're up against a break here on the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show. This segment has been brought to you by Bland Insurance Group. We want to thank Sean Bland and his insurance company, Allstate, for being a big sponsor here on the Lake Martin Sports Roundup. Stay tuned. More of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup presented by JR's right after this.
S&S Discount Tire on Cherokee Road in Alex City is the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealership and a place for everything mechanical. Weary and the S&S Tire crew are ready to serve you with double the capacity, from routine oil changes to full engine overhauls and all transmission work. S&S Tire can handle it all. That's S&S Tire on Cherokee Road. Call David or Weary today at 256-215-8822. Visit S&S Discount Tire at 224 East South Street in Dadeville, now in 2 locations.
When it comes to providing the very finest in funeral services, there's one name that stands alone. At Radney's Funeral Home, we take pride in our reputation as one of the leading funeral homes in this part of Alabama. Since 1938, our name has stood for honesty, integrity, and quality. These are the principles that have made Radney's Funeral Home the #1 choice when you want the very finest in funeral service for your family. Radney's Funeral Home, the independent hometown funeral home serving Tallapoosa and surrounding counties.
Times change, but what Alabama banks on never changes. In good times or difficult times, people in Alabama know they can bank on community ties, common history, strong relationships, and trusted experience. That's why for over 110 years, Tallapoosa County has banked with Alliant. Log on to AlliantBank.com or come by one of our convenient locations and experience the same friendly service. Alliant, a century of banking on Alabama. Alliant Bank, a division of U.S. AmeriBank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
Lake Winds Golf Course, the most affordable, quality round of golf in Central Alabama. Located right off Highway 280 on County Road 40 in Alexander City, Lake Winds Golf Course offers affordable memberships, an updated pro shop, junior golf program, annual tournaments, and weekly matches. Call for your tee time today, 256-825-9860. Lake Winds Golf Course.
Ready for the season and when they take the field, who to look for. The first list we're going to go through is the breakout stars, the Fab Five, who Ed and who the outlook feels like are going to be 5 players to have breakout seasons. Maybe didn't have one last year, didn't get very many starts, but should be poised to have a breakout season. Shakarian Hayes comes in at number 5 from Central Acusa. He's a running back / DB, 5'9", 180 pounds. Last year, only 185 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns, but again, in very limited playing time. So he's a guy for Central Coosa fans that they're going to look to have a big year.
Yeah, and again, as with this list, there's a common theme with a couple of them. Most of the reason that they were out was due to an injury. He had an ankle injury that allowed him to only play 3 games. So those numbers you're looking at, 185 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns, occurred only during 3 games. And he also had a pick 6 during that time as well. So I think that there are some potential playmakers there for Central Coosa. There with Trey Royal, who I think is just going to be one of the best players in the surrounding area. But again, Shakarian Hayes is somebody that Central Coosa has the opportunity to shout for on Friday.
And number 4, it's Michael Miller from Dable High School, a wide receiver, 5'9", 170 pounds last year, 328 receiving yards and 5 total touchdowns. C.J. Talbert was the playmaker for Dable for the last couple of years. And, with the absence of him, you would think there'd be a massive drop-off. It's not going to be the case. I mean, you don't replace a guy like C.J. Talbert that's a veteran quarterback that was able to do so many things from that position. But they'll have Sean Jennings or Cal Jones at quarterback, and they're going to look to Michael Miller a bunch as a veteran target to catch the football. And, skill position guys, Dable does not lack, and basically that's what Kevin Kill was up here saying a couple of weeks ago. And it's amazing in Dable, Alabama, and he was saying this, how many skill position and how talented what he said. I don't know where Richard goes and gets all these guys. He said they just keep replenishing themselves, and that's the truth.
Yeah, and you start watching it from the turnaround from 0-10 to 10-0, and since that point,
it has been a steam.
I mean, they have done everything you could do for a program except for win a state championship. I mean, they've been one of the most successful programs in 4A, and so you're looking at another chance, though, for them to do something this year. But again, you're looking at Miller, who, as you said, they have a lot of athletes, but he's one of those guys that from a versatility standpoint, he can line up in the backfield as well as line up in the slot or go outside and even maybe throw a couple of passes. So it'll be interesting to see how Dable uses them this year.
We're breaking down the breakout stars in this area for 2014. The Outlook top 5. Number 3 is Drew Hill. Quarterback, running back for Horseshoe Bend. I've heard a lot about Drew. 5'8", 165 pounds. Last year, 413 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. He was a guy that came on strong last year and played extremely well. The Generals and Coach Franklin were up here this past a couple of weeks ago, Show Your Colors, and really had a lot to say about Drew.
Yeah, he's someone who has, again, he was bit by the injury bug. He was there in limited time, but all of these yardage and all of the stats that you're putting up are in 4 and 5 games. So, again, for a team that's going to go to a ground attack and they're going to use their quarterback and running backs a lot this year, a lot more than they have in a different capacity, they're going to need someone who can carry the load. And Drew Hill is definitely someone that Coach Tony Franklin has talked about being one of his main playmakers.
Reeltown comes in at number 2. Cody Martin, running back, defensive back, 5'6", 148 pounds. Last year had 878 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns. And Reeltown High School, you know what they do. They are a primarily running game, and basically that's why I was a little shocked to hear some news out of that camp that they're going to try to move to a spread offense. Maybe Coach O'Neill's last year here. Maybe he's sitting there thinking, we've done this a bunch and we've gotten to the state championship game and we've won some, but in this new day and age of football and spread attack, maybe we need to utilize a little bit more of our talent, because they always have great athletes, and against teams that they're, I guess if you match up with as far as equal or the team has a little bit more talent than you, when you run on the ground, you ever get down a couple of touchdowns, it's hard to come back with that kind of attack. So maybe he's trying to be more versatile.
And wouldn't it be awesome if he did go out that way, though, in his last season of coaching someone who's been known as a power rusher?
Who's been adamant about changing.
Yes, and so, they have been doing this forever and been very successful doing it. But if they were to make that transition, they definitely have athletes such as Cody Martin who would be able to help them.
Number one breakout player, according to Outlook and Ed Bailey, actually running back Benjamin Russell, Chase Burton. 5'9", 165 pounds. Randy and I saw him along with you, Scott, last year. We know the signs. We pointed to him last year. He kind of had 132 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns last year. They would bring him inside the 5-yard line a lot. And LeBrenican Johnson was the guy that got most of the carries last year. But the door has been open for Chase Burton. He likes to run between the tackles. I know that doesn't seem like a big guy at 5'9", 165 pounds, but he likes to pound it up inside. He can get around the ends. He's not afraid of contact. So he's going to be a definite potential star in the making for Benjamin Russell on the offensive side of the football.
Yeah, and Chase just a junior, so again, he was used in limited capacity last year up until the bigger games. You saw him come on late in the season, as you said, was used primarily.
Is that a bug?
Primarily during goal line situations, but he was able, because Benjamin Russell was ahead in a lot of their games, he got an opportunity to get more carries than he probably would have, so that allowed him to grow and mature as a running back. But again, as you say, 5'9", 165 pounds, doesn't really seem like he would be a power rusher, but if you see him run, I know I'll sound like a homer here, but he's just one of those guys that he's definitely excites you as somebody who likes power football, and it's a great mix with he and Tyreek Pac-Man Norris, who, again, maybe wants to do a little more on the outside. It's going to be fun to see those two go back and forth.
You look at the top 5 here coming from all different high schools, and, who do you think might be somebody that's a breakout star that's not on this list? You don't have to necessarily agree. These are 5 that were chosen by Ed as he does his research through the area, but you don't necessarily have to agree with it. There may be a kid on another team or another kid on one of these teams that you feel like might have a shot at a tremendous season. So give us a call, 256-234-6221, to be part of the program. We come back, we'll go into the Fab 5 defensive stalwarts from the area, and this is a pretty impressive list because and I was not shocked at number 1. Actually, when I knew they were going to come out with the defensive guys, I knew this guy would be number 1. So we're up against a break. When we come back, we'll run down the 2014 5 top defenders to watch going into the football season. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz, Lake Martin Sports Roundup, right after this.
Bucks Island is one of the oldest boat dealers in Alabama, serving boaters since 1948 with the largest boat showroom in the state. Bass boats featuring Skeeter, cruisers and sport boats featuring Monterey, pontoons featuring Crest, G3 and Voyagers, powered by Mercury and Yamaha. Bucks Island has sold over 10,000 boats and with a full service and parts and accessories department to keep your boat in top condition. Don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote. Visit Bucks Island on Highway 77 in Southside or online at bucksisland.com. Give them a call at 1-800-I'm-READY. Bucks Island, where our number 1 product is customer satisfaction.
JR Sports Bar and Grill. Mondays, all you can eat fingers, $13.25. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, all you can eat wings, $12.25. Every day, kids in uniforms eat for $1.99. Alabama Street in Alexander City and Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
It's political season. Get the most exposure for your campaign through Lee Marketing Group. Yard signs, banners, decals, door hangers, postcards, business cards, video production, advertising, and more. Custom, professional, and engaging. Everything you need in one place. Contact us today. 888-533-6758. www.leemarketing.net. LMG. Success by design.
Some people think Allstate only protects your car. Here's the truth. Allstate can also protect your home or apartment, as well as your boat, motorcycle, RV, and snowmobile, and even your retirement and your life. Not many insurance companies can say that, but Allstate can.
For more information about how to bundle and save, you can contact Bland Insurance Group either by phone at 256-392-9244, or you can visit us on Facebook or our website at blandinsurancegroup.com.
Family owned and operated, Holly's Home Furnishings is the Lake Martin area's best choice for all of your furniture needs. Whether you're looking for something new for the living room, dining room, or bedroom, Holly's has something you'll love for every room in your house. Holly's has a great selection of furniture in the most popular names like Lane, Broyhill, Rowe Furniture, as well as the best names in mattresses like Sealy and Tempur-Pedic. You can even get beautiful home decor, everything your home needs, at Holly's Home Furnishings, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City. Visit their website at hollyshomefurnishings.com. In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show, presented by a lot of our segment sponsors here, and this one is Alliant Bank, Scott, so we appreciate our segment sponsors here on the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show. We'd love for you to be a part of this program and your business to be part of this program as we highlight all of the area high schools and a lot of the superlatives from kids around this area. So one of the things that, and Randy just sent a text, and this is what we want you to do, somebody that you feel like is a player that deserves some notoriety, that might be a breakout star this year. And, of course, Randy and I and you are the radio network crew for Benjamin Russell High School. And so Randy submits Anthony Parker and Scott Sturdivant. Scott Sturdivant at middle linebacker for Benjamin Russell. Anthony Parker on the offensive line, a big guy, 6'4", about 300 pounds, 285, 290 right now, close to 300 pounds. It will be a junior. I mean, just a whale of a guy, and a lot of potential on that offensive line. I was talking to a couple of the coaches for Benjamin Russell, and they're excited about this offensive line. There is some youth up there, but the potential is really unlimited. And the defensive side with Scott Sturdivant anchoring that defense in the middle, along with his brother Sam now. That's going to be a fun defense to watch. Coach Horn was very excited here a couple of weeks ago about the playmakers he has on defense.
Well, I think that'll be one of the things that keeps Benjamin Russell in a lot of these games as they maneuver through a transition at quarterback, that defensively they're going to be in all of the ball games because you're not going to be able to score lots of points on them. They have people on the defensive line who can rush the passer, great defensive backs, some honorable mentions for a player on the team as well for all states. So they're going to be there. But offensively, while you do lose some guys on the offensive line, the turnover won't be as bad there because you have a great coach in Ty Morrison who has done a great job here at Benjamin Russell so far, and I expect that to continue this fall.
Yeah, and again, these are breakout players. We know there's a ton of players that have already proven themselves, one being for Benjamin Russell, Daniel Bland. He'll be a mainstay up there along with Stuart Ward. They're the veterans on that offensive line. So excited about them. But Daniel Bland, with 2 more years, already a state champion in wrestling. So he is a tremendous talent. I think there's going to be a lot of potential on that team. Let's slide over to the defense and Ed's Fab Five as far as defensive stalwarts go in this area. Tristan Milton from Horseshoe Bend, 6 foot, 250 pounds. Last year, his stats: 60 tackles, 8 for loss, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. Again, one of the things that you look at, Chad Keeson will be handling the defensive side of the football this year. He's the defensive coordinator now. We know Chad very well. Jason Johnson will be handling the offensive duties now. He's the offensive coordinator. But on defense, Chad will have that big guy to work with. Again, good size, 6 foot, 250 pounds up on that front line.
Well, that was something Coach Franklin talked about when he visited us a couple weeks ago, was that defensively this was going to be one of the better teams I've had in a while. And I think a lot of that probably has to do with, and it's probably going for both sides, when you move that wing tee, it's going to force in practice. You're just going up against that every day. So I think that's brought somewhat of a toughness to the team that was needed more, that they really haven't had. I think you'll see them succeed as a program, just continue to do what they've been doing. But defensively, they have a great star there.
Coming in at number 4 from Benjamin Russell, Tyreek Norris. We call him Pac-Man, a defensive back in that secondary. 5'9", 185 pounds, 40 tackles, 5 interceptions, 1 forced fumble. He is a mainstay on the defense, and that defense has a lot of talent. There's a lot of guys on that defense that really makes that side of the football strong for the Wildcats. But Tyreek Norris is definitely a guy with breakout speed as far as able to break on passes, able to make up ground. He's got that quick step. He's a very tough player, hard-nosed, comes up and really lays a lick when he hits you. He's a prototypical guy that you see back there in that secondary that loves contact, loves to come up and punish wide receivers when they catch the football.
Yeah, and I'm just excited for him. He brings a different flair to the field, and I love watching him on both sides of the ball. But I think while he'll be a great offensive player, where he helps the most for Benjamin Russell is back in the backfield, in the secondary, and that'll be something you look forward to calling his name this fall.
Number 3, Arico Stewart from Reeltown, a defensive back, 5'11", 174 pounds. Last year he had 54 tackles, 4 picks, 1 sack, and a forced fumble. So for Reeltown, one thing they've always done at Reeltown is play defense. It is hard to score on the Rebels, and he's a hard-hitting guy. Again, he's no stranger to to contact. He earned a first-team nod on the Class 2A All-State team on defense as a sophomore. He had 92 tackles that year and 5 picks. So, you look at stats from one year to the next, it's really not a testament of what kind of player it is. Sometimes you have a drop-off because, if you are a playmaker on defense, especially in high school, a lot of times teams will go away from you. You won't have the opportunities to make as many plays as you say he did in his sophomore year. So he'll be a leader on that Reeltown Rebel defense.
Yeah, and as you said, Reeltown is going to play defense, hard-nosed team, and Coach O'Neill, I think, has a great player here. He's one of the guys that they've been talking about for some time, and I know speaking with Ed and his conversations with the coaches, that's probably the person who he thought has had the greatest improvement from last year to this year.
Number 2 is Trey Royal, a linebacker from Central Coosa. Good size, 6'2", 210 pounds. He had 83 tackles last year, 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 3 fumble recoveries. He is a guy that gets after it, Scott. If you look down through here on the synopsis on him, he has been, as Ed said, one of the more unheralded defenders in the area. And that's not of any fault of his own. I know Central Coosa hasn't had the seasons that they would like to have had, but Trey Royal has definitely been a bright spot on that defense. He would play on any team around here. Again, being able to accumulate 14 sacks over the last 2 seasons, that's hard to do. And they play a very tough schedule every year. They have a lot of tough teams on their schedule. But Trey Royal is a guy that they can be proud of over there at linebacker, 6'2", 210 pounds. That's a big guy inside.
Yeah, and if not for the guy at number 1, he would be the most talked about. His numbers would be the most talked about in the area, I think. But, again, he's somebody that Central Coosa relies on so heavily. They're moving him now from the defensive line up now to a linebacker. So I think he'll have an opportunity to make more plays, which should increase that stat line a little bit more. And hopefully he'll get an opportunity to get some looks from colleges, because at 6'2", 210, entering a senior in high school, that's definitely something at a linebacker position that could cause some havoc.
Obviously with some speed, too, to be able to get in the backfield and come up with sacks. Number 1 is, no surprise, Anthony Jennings from Dayville, defensive end, 6'4", 245 pounds, already committed to Alabama to play at the next level. These stats sometimes can make me scratch my head at what they're able to do. 171 tackles, 43 quarterback hurries, 8 sacks, 1 interception, and a forced fumble, and able to get back there in the backfield. Obviously, the University of Alabama, a lot of teams high on Anthony Jennings. He decides to commit to Alabama and go that direction. So he is definitely a guy that will be a powerhouse name in Class 4A. When you commit to Alabama or you commit to Auburn or LSU or Florida, people are going to watch you all year. So everybody from around the state, around the Southeast, will be following Anthony Jennings because he's an Alabama commitment. So we'll definitely be following him here. Hard to follow up numbers like that in 2014. But, again, just like with Arika Stewart from Reeltown, Anthony Jennings may not put the numbers up this year that he did last year, because I'm going to tell you, he had a breakout year. And I'm telling you, if teams understand what they're going up against, they're going to run away from him. They're not going to give him as many opportunities to make plays.
Yeah, you made a great point. At this level, teams are going to do their best to make sure that the other team's best player can't make a play against them. And so you'll see a lot of plays go the other way. But for somebody who had 171 tackles last season, I'm sure he'll find a way to continue to make plays. But the stat line is just crazy to look at. 43 quarterback hurries, 8 sacks. So you can see why that stat line and the talent level that he possesses would get him that offer from Alabama and ultimately getting him to commit there.
We're going to take a break here on the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show. We'll run down Ed's top 5 matchups in the area. Now, we'll kind of run down some of ours, too, that we feel like are some to watch. And then we'll have a guest on 6:45. Scott, a special guest that we'll talk about here in the next segment. But we're going to take a break, and we'll come back. We'll run down the top 5 matchups according to the outlook. Stay tuned. More of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup right after this.
When it comes to providing the very finest in funeral services, there's one name that stands alone. At Radney's Funeral Home, we take pride in our reputation as one of the leading funeral homes in this part of Alabama. Since 1938, our name has stood for honesty, integrity, and quality. These are the principles that have made Radney's Funeral Home the #1 choice when you want the very finest in funeral service for your family. Radney's Funeral Home, the independent hometown funeral home serving Tallapoosa and surrounding counties.
Times change, but what Alabama banks on never changes. In good times or difficult times, people in Alabama know they can bank on community ties, common history, strong relationships, and trusted experience. That's why for over 110 years, Tallapoosa County has banked with Alliant. Log on to AlliantBank.com or come by one of our convenient locations and experience the same friendly service. Alliant, a century of banking on Alabama. Alliant Bank, a division of U.S. AmeriBank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Don't let pests take your house or business over. Wave the red flag. Red Flag Pest, owned and operated by Scott Davis on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, is licensed, insured, and bonded, and serves the Lake Martin area, specializing in lake homes, residential property, and industrial property. Call for a free inspection today, 256-825-0430, and visit us online at redflagpestcontrol.com. Red Flag Pest Control, when the problem has to stop, guaranteed.
Have you heard about Walls Tire and Auto? Walls Tire and Auto is a full-service garage with over 40 years combined experience in the shop. Let the professional, experienced staff at Walls Tire and Auto provide you with any service your car needs. You already know they handle tires of all sizes and brands, but did you know if your car breaks down, the friendly staff of Walls Tire and Auto will pick you up, make the repairs, and deliver your car back to you? Stop by and see them today. They're right off Highway 280, about a mile past Lake Hill Bridge, or call at 256-825-2628.
Wireless Advantage is Lake Martin's Verizon premium retailer, located in the Marketplace Shopping Center on Highway 280 in Alex City. We've got all the latest cell phones along with the latest Wi-Fi internet products, home phone options, and state-of-the-art tablets, all backed up by Verizon's premium nationwide network. Don't get caught in long lines. Get full Verizon service and products from Apple, BlackBerry, Droid HTZ, iPad, LG, Motorola, and Samsung right here at home. Visit Wireless Advantage in the Marketplace Shopping Center in Alexander City on Highway 280 for all your Verizon wireless needs.
For over 60 years, East Central Alabama has relied on Jackson Refrigeration for installation and service on all brands, including Rheem, Goodman, and York. Now we've expanded into A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, a division of Jackson Refrigeration. We still make your comfort our priority and expect our staff to be the most experienced, dedicated, and trained to give you the highest quality of sales and service. When choosing your heating and air company, choose our family of professionals. The all-new A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, the all-new division of Jackson Refrigeration.
Kendall, but we'll run down these top 5 matchups here according to the Outlook in high school football. The number 5 matchup on October 17th. And again, you don't have to agree with these. There may be some games out there that you think may be bigger. These are Ed's top 5 out of the Outlook. Central Coosa and Montgomery Academy. And look, I'm going to tell you something. Trey Royal, when you have a player like that on defense that has the numbers that he has, I expect Central Coosa to be better this year and be able to do some of the things that they need to do to shut some teams down defensively. But they'll have a tall task in Montgomery Academy. It's the first ever matchup between those two teams, and their area is just so tough. And Central went 3-7 last year. I do expect them to be better. And how big of a game would that be if they could grab a win there?
I mean, it's one of those games where, like, a player like Trey Royal, hopefully that elevates him in the recruiting services, and coaches and different teams get an opportunity to look at him and play, because he's somebody that would elevate anybody's team. But in this type of game, you definitely expect him to come out and have one of those game-changing moments. Again, Montgomery Academy in 2A has done a great job and has been one of the better teams in that area, or in that A. But again, 2A classification going against Central Coosa, I still don't see Central Coosa being able to win it. But again, 3-7, they'll definitely be better than what their record was last year.
Number 4 is Benjamin Russell and Opelika. This will be the rubber match over the last 3 years. Benjamin Russell leads this all-time series 36-29-3. It's the longest rival for Benjamin Russell. Last year, Opelika won the game 21-7. Benjamin Russell missed numerous opportunities to really take a big lead in that game in the first half. The game was tied at half at 7 apiece. Right out of the gate in the second half, we fumbled the football. They were able to cash it in, and it was 14-7 until a few minutes left in the game. So it was a 14-7 game. Benjamin Russell missed a couple of field goals early in that game to really bump the lead up. In games like that, you've got to take advantage of scoring opportunities, and that's what Coach Horn said. We shot ourselves in the foot. When we had opportunities down there inside the red zone, we didn't take advantage of it, and especially a team like Opelika, you got to make them pay when you get opportunities. So it was a good game. I expect another good game this year. We'll be back at the Sportsplex. Opelika with a lot of talent. Benjamin Russell with it's hard to say much improved defense, but they're expecting the defense to be better than it was last year, and this is a team that didn't give up very many points. So excited about that game and that matchup. Moving on to number 3, Reeltown and Lynette. Reeltown and Lynette are two programs that really have started to play each other here of late. They've only played 6 times. There's a 3-3 tied-up matchup in that series, and Lynette has been super strong. They were number 1 in the state for numerous weeks last year. Reeltown will have an opportunity to get some revenge. Lynette beat them 20-14 last year. I know Jackie O'Neill would like to get revenge against them. That's going to be a good football game.
Yeah, Lynette has one of the better players in all the state, but especially in that 2A classification, and Marlon Bridges, and he's somebody who carved up the Reeltown defense last year. So, again, I'm sure that Jackie O'Neill would like to go out on top, facing them to get this tie broken as he goes out in retirement.
There you got it. You got it that time. Number 2 game on the list is Reeltown at Dable. This is always a premier match. This kind of gets football started in Tallapoosa County. Thursday night at Dable. Reeltown has not been able to defeat Dable in a few years. Last year, Dable won handily, 28-0. Dable leads the series 29-14, but as over the last 15 years, Reeltown has won some really tough battles. I was on the sideline a few years ago where Reeltown was able to win the football game. So this, again, Jackie O'Neill's been a lot of emotion in this game. It's an inter-county rival game. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there. And then number 1, Dable and Leeds. Leeds may be the best team in 4A. They open up on ESPN with Madison Academy. First week of the season. ESPN has picked that game up. Kerryon Johnson's the running back for Madison Academy. Leeds has 2 or 3 top prospects. You'll be able to see that on your TV at the first week of the season. They're one of the favorites to win 4A. The Dable, I'm telling you, Dable and will definitely hold their own, and I wouldn't be shocked if they will beat Leeds. That is going to be, like you said, a premier matchup in the state of Alabama, all classifications involved, 7A through 1A. So all eyes on October 10th will be on Dable and Leeds.
Well, yeah, it'll be a mid-season game, so both teams will be in, as you say, mid-season form, so they'll have an opportunity to really air out the playbook and do the things you want to do compared to an earlier game like we've seen with Ben Russell and Opelika, usually what they've been doing. But, again, this game will match up, and I think it's more important for Dable because it's just a measuring stick to see how far that they've actually come, because we know that they are one of the more formidable opponents in 4A, but going against who men are picking to win 4A, I think it's going to be a great test as they get ready to prepare for the playoffs.
I'm going to throw one more game out there, Benjamin Russell and Oxford this year. The Oxford Yellow Jackets, they don't have Rock Thomas this year. They're still a very good program, but Benjamin Russell, a little history with Oxford back and forth there when they were in the region together several years ago. They've had Jared Morris on that team that went on to play at Vanderbilt. Oxford always puts out a lot of talent. Expect Rock Thomas to play some this year for Auburn University. Kind of glad he's gone and won't have to face him. But Benjamin Russell Oxford, I think, is definitely a game that people will be interested in. And I've got to just throw this one out there, too. Second week of the season, Ben Russell and Central Clay.
That's the game I'm looking the most forward to going to this season. I think there's just going to be so much emotion on both sides, and I'm just really looking forward to see how both sides respond to what many are saying should be one of the better games of the season.
It'll be Danny's return to Central Clay. Well, he didn't coach at Central Clay. He coached at Clay County, but he'll be his return to his home area. And you're going to know that they're going to want to put an L in his column. You know, he came to Benjamin Russell while he was at Clay County, and we didn't beat him either year. And so they want to keep that tradition going of beating Benjamin Russell. I know Danny would love nothing more than to go up there and win that football game. And that's just going to be a good, clean game. But there's going to be a lot of storylines in that game, and a lot of excitement around there. A brand new stadium 2 years ago up there, a beautiful high school. We're excited about going up there week 2. That'll be a game that a lot of people will watch throughout the state of Alabama. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Raycom may have picked that game up as the game of the week on the Raycom network. So we'll just see how that plays out and get you some more information as it comes near. But we're up against our last break of the show. When we come back, Scott, you'll join Daniel Levitt, talk to him. And he wrote an article about Kendall Graveman. Kendall Graveman, a tremendous talent, excited about what he's doing. I think any day he could be pulled up with Toronto Blue Jays. So we're keeping our eyes on him. We'll have Kendall on at 7:15 on Sports Blitz Live. Stay tuned. More of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup right after this.
JR Sports Bar and Grill. Mondays, all you can eat fingers, $13.25. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, all you can eat wings, $12.25. Every day, kids in uniforms eat for $1.99. Alabama Street in Alexander City and Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
Sperlin Recycling is an Alabama-based recycling company specializing in the recycling of metal, aluminum, copper, ferrous, and non-ferrous waste. Sperlin Recycling is available for all your commercial recycling needs, including demolition, on-site scrap removal, and roll-off services. Sperlin Recycling is a family-owned corporation with several generations of experience. Call us today at 256-234-0903 and visit us online at www.sperlinrecycling.com.
Hello, I'm Russell Building Supply.
And I'm the big box store. Say, what you doing?
I'm checking inventory in all of our departments.
Well, you're Russell. I thought you only sold lumber to contract.
No. We have lots of home improvement items like nails, nuts and bolts, plumbing, electrical supplies, and the experts to give advice too.
Okay.
Paints and lawn and garden, windows, doors, and cabinets, all at our low price guarantee.
Okay, I get it. I guess I was selling you a little short.
Me? Short? Really?
9 locations serving Lake Martin and Central Alabama.
When you're on Lake Martin and looking for your own boat, it pays to know what the locals know. Alex City Marine in Alex City and the all-new Alex City Marine South on Highway 63 across from the Mini Mall is Lake Martin's premier Landau pontoon boat dealer and the area's authorized Suzuki, Honda, and Mercury outboard dealer. Alex City Marine has the industry's best brands, and they back it up with the industry's best boat repair with marine certified specialists that get it done right. Whether summerization or a full overhaul, Alex City Marine has you covered on both ends of the lake. Know what the locals know. Alex City Marine, Lake Martin's complete sales and service center with 2 locations to serve you.
When it comes to health care, Russell Medical Center has always been my choice. When my doctor recommended I have my procedure there, I knew it was the right decision. He knows the kind of expertise, quality, and care I've come to expect. When surgery was necessary, I knew I would be in good hands, and it felt comfortable being treated in a facility so close to home.
Russell Medical Center. Your health, your community, your hospital.
Tallapoosa Ford is your Ford truck dealer for over 35 years. We've delivered on America's best-selling truck, the Ford F-150. Tallapoosa Ford has the F-150 you want with a huge selection on site and can order any style or model you need with all the region's most competitive pricing. We service all warranty work with an award-winning service department, so we are with you down the road.
Hello, I'm Jeff Smith, and I'd like to welcome you to Tallapoosa Ford, a family-owned Ford business locally owned for over 35 years. Your friend in the Ford business.
Visit Tallapoosa Ford on Highway 280, Alex City. Your Ford giant in East Central Alabama and your friends in the Ford business.
Welcome back into the last segment of the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup, presented to you each and every Tuesday night here live on location, JR Sports Bar and Grill. 234-6221 is the number to dial in, and we'll take any of your calls here, as we said in the last segment. And I'm really looking forward to this next interview. We get to discuss one of my favorite people to follow now in baseball, Kendall Graveman, somebody who's done so much in one season, elevated through 4 levels of the farm system of the Toronto Blue Jays. In 22 games started this season, he's 11-5 with a 1.87 ERA, and that's in 135 innings pitched. And so, again, I'm really looking forward to see that. And the one thing that I look at his stats, 1 home run in 135 innings. So that's just very, very impressive. But I want to welcome to the show Daniel Levitt, who is the writer for Baseball Hot Corner, who has been doing some very flattering articles, we'll say, in regards to Kendall. So we'll go ahead and open up the interview now. In the summer of 2013, weeks after being drafted, former Mississippi State Bulldog standout Kendall Graveman joined the single-A Lansing Lugnuts. In 10 starts, he posted fairly pedestrian numbers. If you fast forward a year, and Graveman has been anything but average. What has been the biggest factor in his rise through the Blue Jays farm system?
The biggest factor for Graveman's rise to the minor leagues this year has been comfort level and routine. Last year, he came straight from pitching in the College World Series for the Bulldogs to professional baseball in Lansing, all in about 3 weeks. As you can imagine, there's a lot to take in at such a young age. This year, he's more familiar with his surroundings. He's pitching every 5 days, which is essential to all starting pitchers. And he's had a full off season to build his arm and leg strength. And ultimately, he's a great pitcher. I mean, he pitched the Bulldogs all the way to the NCAA final, so there was no reason as to why he couldn't make a run as he's done.
And again, you know, Kendall's clearly been one of the most productive young arms in the organization, yet none of the major prospect publications have given him the type of respect that his stat line suggests. Do you think that's part criticism or skepticism regarding Graveman's numbers, who I said 11-5 with a 1.87 ERA, or is it because he doesn't possess the same name recognition or star quality of a Sean Nolan or Daniel Norris?
It's more skepticism than criticism that Graveman has faced, and that won't stop as he comes up against the more national writers and reporters. So much is put into preseason prospect rankings, and if you're not ranked, then people are reluctant to pay attention to you based solely on the stats. Graveman has unfortunately fallen into that trap and flown under the radar a little bit, but I think that suits some guys, you know, keeping out of the spotlight and just doing his thing, and at the moment, it seems to be working.
We're here with Daniel Levitt, who is a writer for Baseball Hot Corner, who has been doing a great job covering the minor leagues and all things Toronto Blue Jays. And so anybody who's followed Kendall's career knows that both in college and in the minors, the one thing that appears to be consistent is that he's going to pitch to contact, and he induces a lot of ground balls. How do you see that translating in Toronto, playing half of his games in a dome?
Ground balls in the Rogers Center are an absolute key. when that thing gets up there, boy, it just flies, you know. There's a reason why that ballpark is third in all of baseball for number of home runs this season. Inducing the ground ball there, therefore, is essential for any pitcher. Just look at the success that Mark Burley's had this year, partly because he works his infielder so often. And Graveman is by no means a power guy, so he's not going to strike out a lot of people, so he has to pitch to his defense whenever he can.
And although Kendall Graveman has been used exclusively as a starter in the minor leagues, he does have some experience as a relief pitcher in college. He could definitely use the Blue Jays could definitely use him in their bullpen. Where do you see the GM ultimately using him as he moves up the next level?
It's unclear at this stage where Anthopoulos sees Graveman fitting in with the big league club. One consistent trend this season, however, has been top prospects starting out in the pen and then making the transition over to the rotation. Look at Marcus Stroman and Aaron Sanchez. Stroman is clearly the best pitcher on the staff at the moment. So for Graveman, he'll be hard pushed to make the rotation out of spring training next year. So I think a spot start or a call from the pen looks likely.
And I have one more question for you. The Blue Jays rotation seems to be impenetrable at the moment with names such as Drew Hutchison, as you alluded to, Aaron Sanchez having a lock on the back end of the rotation. What would the right-handed sinker baller have to do to ultimately reach the big leagues, and when can you see that happening?
But Graveman ultimately makes the big league club next year through an injury or via the pen. Despite there being questions surrounding Drew Hutchison and Aaron Sanchez, the rotation looks pretty set at the moment. And you've got to bear in mind that also Daniel Norris, the Blue Jays' #1 prospect, will most likely get the first shot ahead of Graveman. But that's not to say we won't see him at some point in 2015. Because there's such a rapid rise to Buffalo, though, I think a full season at the AAA level will do him a world of good, and prepare him for when the time comes to be called up to the majors.
And that was Daniel Levitt of the Baseball Hot Corner. I want to thank you for joining Lake Martin Sports Roundup. And, again, though we're talking about Kendall Graveman for anybody who's just joined the show, and he's just done a wonderful job this season. And, as you said, it's been such a quick rise that I think he's caught a lot of people off guard because, as Daniel alluded to, a lot of these prospect rankings come out so far in advance, and they're looking at years in advance of how a team plans on using certain players and the longevity. And the thing that I think Kendall has going for him is that he pitched at Mississippi State for 4 years, and he has more experience, and so that allows him to move through the system a little bit quicker than, say, some of your younger prospects who are coming out of high school and may not have the same innings and the stamina that someone else may have. Because the one thing that if you look at Kendall, watching him pitch, is I asked the question, he's going to induce contact. And so when you're doing that, a lot of times you're going to have a low pitch count, thus allowing you to pitch longer into games. And so that's definitely for a team like the Blue Jays who give up a lot of runs playing in the AL East. They want to have someone who could go deep into ball games and not have to use their bullpen as they tend to do on a nightly basis. But, again, we want to thank Daniel for a great interview. And if you have an opportunity to check out the articles on Baseball Hot Corner, I know Sports Blitz social media has done a great job of promoting the articles as well, so check out that. But I know we're running up against the end of the show, so just a quick rundown of all we've talked about. We had a great opportunity to discuss a lot of the breakout stars that will be expected to take place or who are expected to take the field this fall, and I'm just excited to see what all of the teams in the area have going forward. But, again, this was a great show, and I look forward to hearing what the guys have to say on Sports Blitz Live on Channel 2 and Channel 8 statewide. For Brett Pritchard, I'm your host, Scott Hardy, saying thanks for joining the Lake Martin Sports Roundup. See you next week.
At SNS.
It's political season. Get the most exposure for your campaign through Lee Marketing Group. Yard signs, banners, decals, door hangers, postcards, business cards, video production, advertising, and more. Custom, professional, and engaging. Everything you need in one place. Contact us today. 888-533-6758. www.leemarketing.net. LMG, success by design.
S&S Discount Tires just added a brand new third location in New Site to help better serve the New Site, Mella Valley, and Clay County area. S&S Discount Tire has the best prices on tires around with the most qualified service techs. S&S Discount Tire is the area's leading volume tire dealer because we sell tires the right way by making them affordable with service beyond compare. S&S Discount Tire in New Site is located right across the street from East Building Supply. Call us today at 256-392-4022.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success.
At Brown Nursing Home, you'll find quality care and comfortable living. We take great pride in our rehabilitation services, including short-term rehabilitation. We offer speech, occupational, and physical therapy, as well as skilled nursing care. Brown is located on Washington Street in Alexander City. For more information, contact Cecily Lee, the administrator, at 256-329-9061.
Loves clothes and her phone. Still willing to be seen with you in public, depending on the location. Jamie at 14 and you. Available for a limited time only. Don't wait to make the memories that will last a lifetime at Walt Disney World Resort, the place where dreams come true.
Book your next Walt Disney World vacation. Contact Fairy Tale Journeys LLC at 256-825-2668 or at fairytalejourneys.com. Sports Blitz Live is on the air. News, scores, predictions. Sports Blitz Live with your host, Brett Pritchard, Luke Robinson, and Randy Lee. Call 800-782-0108. Auburn.
45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back.
Alabama.
38 pounds and 80 yards.
And the latest in high school sports.
Yes, he is. Touchdown.
It's Sports Blitz Live now. Brought to you by S&S Discount Tire and JR's Sports Bar and Grill.
Good Tuesday evening out there to everybody, and welcome into Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill. Brett Pritchard and Luke Robinson, also S&S Discount Tire, our presenting sponsors on this program, have been presenting sponsors on this program for a long time. We can't thank JR's and S&S enough, and we'll be here with you for 2 hours. Thank you for tuning us in throughout the state of Alabama on Charter Communications. They get big news. They get the SEC Network. Also, some big news for you.
DirecTV. I knew they'd come through too.
They get through, and so
it's all a big.
Well, they're all just laid back to kind of make everybody sweat a little bit.
Joke's on them, though.
Yeah, it is. So, but anyway, everybody picking up the SEC Network. But we're glad that you're joining us on the radio dial, 95.9 over in Auburn, Opelika, 97.5 over here in the Lake Martin area. Appreciate all of our listeners and viewers throughout the state. Lou, we got an action-packed show, exciting show. Every one of them from now through February are going to be this way. We're just a couple of weeks away from everything really getting kicked off. In the high school part of things, we'll have Beauregard's head football coach Rob Carter on later in the program in the second hour. Excited about having Rob Carter on. The Hornets football games will be carried right here on 95.9 if you're over in the Auburn-Opelika area, so you'll be able to hear the Hornets over there. It's his first year replacing Smitty Grider, so Beauregard with a very good program. Looking forward to talking to him. We're fortunate to have so many great teams in the central part of Alabama. Now, we are statewide on this program, but we live in this area, Luke, and we have so much good football. There's good football all over the place. We have a lot of people that follow us up in the Leeds area. Leeds may be the best team in 4A this year. They open up with Madison Academy. They may be the best team in their classification. I mean, that's a great way to start the high school season off. On ESPN, we've got the Champions Challenge. You and Scott Hardy will be calling Opelika Carver on that Friday night. Randy and I will be at Benjamin Russell for Benjamin Russell BC Rain. The list goes on and on of great games to get things started. It's just the best time of the year.
It really is. I can't wait for it. I mean, we've already had somewhat of a start with the North-South All-Star game about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and that was a lot of fun. But now that practice is in full swing, Alabama and Auburn are in full pads now, and both those teams are going hard at it. You're getting little tidbits of news almost every day. Everybody's talking about quarterback situations and who's going to take whose place. And tonight we're going to talk specifically about Tennessee in our SEC preview. We'll have Bob Kessling on, who's the play-by-play voice of the Tennessee Volunteers. He has been since 1999 on both football and basketball. And
He's
Tennessee,
dropped off since 99.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's funny. He comes the year after they win a national championship, and it's been all downhill ever since. But I won't make fun of him about that. Tennessee, to me, every year has been one of the more intriguing teams in the conference because I'm going to tell you, as an Alabama fan, I know you as an Auburn fan too, we've had our moments of being down, and we don't take it very well. I can't imagine, and neither can Auburn fans, going 5-7 3 consecutive years.
That's hard.
I mean, and it hadn't been very good. It's 5-7, 5-7, 5-7. Before that, they were 6-7.
It's
and before that, they were 7-6, and then 5-7 again.
And that's been in a relatively weak East. It hadn't been the strongest Eastern Division. I mean, when the East was formed, when the divisions were formed, and in the mid to late '90s, Tennessee was strong, but Florida was real strong. Florida was the team nobody could get over the hump, but Tennessee was able to do that toward the end of the '90s. It's been weaker, and they haven't been able to get up there and challenge. Now, they have made it. They played Auburn in 2004. I think they made it one other time. They lost both of those games.
They made it against LSU, and they would have played for a national championship if they had beaten them.
That's exactly right.
And they couldn't pull it off. So, I mean, it's
they've had some bright spots in
over the last few years. The best record they've had is when Lane Kiffin was the coach, and that's who they hate more than anybody. But really, I mean, I go back to you got to probably give Lane Kiffin some credit. He made Tennessee at least nationally relevant again.
And almost beat Alabama.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he became closer than just about anybody that year. But it's just unbelievable how far that program has fallen. Recruiting-wise, they are moving back up the ranks somewhat. But it's something I keep saying is so hard. In this league, everybody recruits really well.
They're just very, very far off. I mean, still from catching up to where they need to be. The West is just so strong. And then, of course, South Carolina and Georgia. And Florida, I expect Florida to come back a good bit this year. And where do the Vols fit in? I had Bob Kessling on Sports Call last year during the season before the Auburn game. He sounded super depressed. And we talked about that on that show for the next few days, and it is amazing. Can't blame the guy. I mean, he just hasn't had a lot of bright spots.
But Rich, you as play-by-play voice of the BRHS Wildcats have had to sit through a season full of crap before. That's exactly what he's been having to do. I mean,
it's tough.
Everything that can go wrong seems to go wrong for Tennessee. They can't get over that hump. They've got a 2-game losing streak to Vandy.
And I don't think anybody would have seen that coming. But, again, we've got SEC preview. We'll preview a couple more teams as we get closer to the start of college football. But we're going to take a break from college football. When we come back, Kendall Graven. A lot of you might not know who he is. You're probably going to know him very quickly if you're a baseball fan, a Major League Baseball fan. He's from Benjamin Russell High School. He went on to play at Mississippi State. Very, very good pitcher. One of the main reasons Mississippi State made it to the College World Series final last year. Now he is just moving up the ranks rapidly in the Toronto Blue Jays organization. He is now with their AAA organization. He is on the cusp of making it to the big dance, and we'll have him on next right here on Sports Blitz Live. But again, Kendall from Benjamin Russell High School. I called him when he was quarterback at Benjamin Russell. Tremendous athlete, could throw it a mile. Always knew he was a great baseball player. Super parents. Watched this kid grow up. Excited for him and the opportunities that lie ahead for him. He's a class act. He's a guy that you would like for your kid to emulate as far as on and off the field. Excited to have Kendall on the program.
Looking forward to it. I mean, he should give us a lot of great information.
So we got 3 great interviews coming your way. Plus, we'll be taking your calls tonight. 1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464 to be part of the program here. And you can always go on Twitter and hit us up there. It's at Sports Blitz, and that's sports with a Z, sports with a Z. So we'd love to hear from you that way. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have Kendall Graveman on the phone with us with the Toronto Blue Jays organization. We'll highlight where he is and where he has come in just a short amount of time. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR's and SNS Discount Tire right after this.
On Tap is brought to you by Hyundai of Auburn. You owe it to yourself. Call Hyundai of Auburn today at 334-321-0777 and visit them online at HyundaiofAuburn.com.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
SNS Discount Tire on Cherokee Road in Alex City is the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealership and a place for everything mechanical. Weary and the SNS Tire crew are ready to serve you with double the capacity from routine oil changes to full engine overhauls and all transmission work. SNS Tire can handle it all. That's SNS Tire on Cherokee Road. Call David or Weary today at 256-215-8822. Visit SNS Discount Tire at 224 East South Street in Dadeville, now in 2 locations.
Welcome to ASA, a full-service salon and spa that caters to men, women, and children. Our product lines are Redken, Keratin, Sahag, and Moroccan Oil. We have 8 master color specialists, a skin esthetician, a licensed massage therapist, and a licensed nail technician.
We have introduced the Keratin Smoothing Treatment. It is perfect for all hair types, and it reduces frizz up to 95%.
From the time you arrive until the time you leave, it is our goal to exceed your expectations. Please call ASA Salon and Spa for all of your styling needs.
Lake Martin Washington Details, 734 on Airport Drive here in Alexander City. Phone number 256-749-6351. Remember now, they do offer gift certificates. They can do just a regular wash or a complete detail. They go that extra mile, and of course they use quality Alabama Auto Magic products. They're family owned and operated. Again, give David a call. They'll be happy to pick up and deliver that vehicle right back to your job site too. The good folks there at Lake Martin Wash and Detail.
What is LMG? It's a team of professionals with the tools to create a successful marketing plan to help your business grow. LMG has successful designs that get results for the individual and the business. We provide signs of all types, screen printing and embroidery, promotional products, web design, audio and video production, and much more. LMG has 3 locations to serve you in Alex City, Dadeville, and the Auburn-Opelika area. Call us at 888-533-6758.
Lake Winds Golf Course, the most affordable, quality round of golf in Central Alabama. Located right off Highway 280 on County Road 40 in Alexander City, Lake Winds Golf Course offers affordable memberships, an updated pro shop, junior golf program, annual tournaments, and weekly matches. Call for your tee time today, 256-825-9860. Lake Winds Golf Course.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Alex City Marine, the Lake Martin area's premier new and used boat and motor dealership. Find out more at alexcitymarine.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. At this time, we want to go to the Dane Sharp Attorney at Law Hotline. Welcome in a good friend of ours, Kendall Graveman, former Benjamin Russell quarterback and pitcher, former Mississippi State Bulldog, and now AAA Buffalo Bison, member of that program with the Toronto Blue Jays. Kendall, thanks so much for taking some time to be on the program.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure to be on the show a couple of times, and once again, glad to be with you guys.
Well, I tell you one thing, Kendall, I just kidded with you just a little bit. I know you haven't had time to really unpack your bags because you're not anywhere long enough to unpack your bags before you got to move.
Right, yeah, it's been an adventure this year, starting in Lansing, Michigan, going from Lansing to Florida, going from Florida to New Hampshire for a couple of days, and going from New Hampshire to Buffalo, New York, and man, I've seen a lot of things this year and been a lot of places, and it's been really neat. But yeah, especially in New Hampshire, I stayed, I think, 4 days. I really didn't unpack my bag, and went and got it out of my apartment, unpacked, and went and got on a plane to go to Buffalo.
Kendall, a meteoric rise to through the farm system for Toronto. You were in the system last year and pitched about 39 innings, and this year have gone from single A all the way up to triple A, like you said, and moving up pretty quickly. And you hear so many stories about, the minor leagues and the bus rides and the hotels. And again, it's real. The stories are real. I know that there's a lot of fame out there, but there's a lot of reality of being on your own and trying to figure out how you're going to do one thing to the next and how you're going to get a place to stay in a new city and meet new people, and all while you're trying to maintain your career and do the best you can on the field.
Yeah, it is. It's a unique experience. A lot of people see what goes on the television in the big league games and the glory that goes on that, but sometimes, especially moving from place to place, give you a couple nights in a hotel, and then they expect you to find a place to live, and you don't know how long you're going to be there, and you got to make friends within the team. Maybe somebody that's moved out, you're taking their spot. You live where they lived, and in an apartment, or you never know what goes on. But especially, we've had 10 to 11-hour bus trips, and of course, the higher up you go, the little better it gets. We actually we fly on long trips here in AAA, but it's just an experience that it's tough to explain sometimes.
We got Kendall Graveman on the phone with us with the AAA Buffalo Bison, the Toronto Blue Jays organization here on the Dane Sharp Attorney at Law Hotline. Kendall, I just have to say you've had a tremendous career already as far as college baseball is concerned, all the way up to where you are now in a very short amount of time with Mississippi State. You guys went all the way to the College World Series, were one game away from winning the whole thing. And I know you enjoyed your experience over in Starkville, but now in the minor leagues, just talk about how quick things can happen and how quick things change and how they've changed for you.
Right, and you go into a college program expecting to get better and learn a lot, like I did at Mississippi State, and then hoping to get drafted and being drafted as a junior, and then coming back as a senior and finishing up my senior year. And I think really that senior year prepared me for minor league baseball and to help me be promoted so quickly. I think that's one thing that I got better my senior year. I got a little more acclimated to how I pitch and who I am, and I think that really helped me. And you want to try to go through the minor leagues as quick as possible and make them promote you. There's guys out there that if you make them promote you, they will. It's not like they want you to stay in A-ball for your career. They see positive things, they'll move you. But I really tip my hat to what I learned at Mississippi State as my success in the minor league so far.
Kendall, that was going to be my next question. What do you attribute? What have you done to get better? Because it's nothing for a guy to be in the minor leagues for 10 years before he even thought about or for the organization to even think about moving him up. And, I mean, you're right here on the cusp, and I know you've jumped through the levels pretty quickly. And as I ask you off the phone, or off the air, how have you heard any rumblings of being moved up to Toronto? And it's like you said, with injuries, with things changing, with trades and people moving around, it could literally be tomorrow. It could be 2 years from now.
Right, and the biggest thing I can do is, and I've seen is how consistent can you be? How consistent, if you're a hitter at the plate, can you be, and how consistent as a pitcher every day that you go out, perform and do well? And they look at consistency, and I really worked hard this offseason to gain velocity on my fastball, and I've done that, so that's helped me to be promoted. And also, I learned a cutter. I started throwing a cut fastball, and that's really seemed to keep hitters honest and keep them off balance a little bit at the plate. And, since those two things have happened, and just pitching with confidence, going out and expecting my stuff to be better than the hitters, I think that's really been one of the biggest things that has helped me also. So I just, with a combination of things, and just have pitch with confidence, you can move up quickly.
Kendall, you arrive in the AAA organization with Buffalo. You hadn't been off the plane very long, and they put you on the mound. You couldn't have gotten your new teammates to help you a little bit at the plate?
Yeah, we had a tough one, but it was a good night. I was trying to keep my team in as long as I can, and that's all I can go out and do. And they made good defensive plays behind me to keep the game where it was. So defensively, they did a great job. And I can't ask for more. The higher up I go, the tighter the defense gets, the better the hitting is. And in baseball, you play 140 to 150 games in the minor leagues a year, and you're gonna have games like that. But just try to keep my team in it and see where it goes from there.
Well, I got to brag on you a little bit. 6 innings pitched. You struck out 4. You gave up 2 earned runs on only 8 hits through 86 pitches. You guys lost a very close game right there. And again, talk about, as you just mentioned, the levels as you move up and what the difference is. Even, you would think AA, AAA, there's not a lot of difference, but every level you move up, you're probably amazed at how talented everybody is.
Right, and you are. You think you can't get any better when you get to AA, and then you get to AAA, and the hitters are better. And I keep using the word consistency, but they stick to their approach at the plate, especially the hitters that I'm facing, and they really don't waver from that. And I think that's why they're there. And on our team, we have about 75% of our team's been in the big leagues at some point. So there's talent all over this league, and just knowing that you're pitching to guys like that, sometimes it makes you focus a little more, and I enjoy that aspect of it. So, just going out and performing and trying to pitch the best of my ability, but the guys knowing that they're talented, and the further you go up in the next jump, even more talent. If you can make it to the big leagues, there's 1 through 9, the hitters are talented, the best in the world there.
Well, Kendall, before I let you go, again, we want to thank you for taking time out, and we're pulling for you. Just can't believe how quickly you moved up. But we've all known for a long time, even in my days of calling you on the radio at Benjamin Russell on the football field, we knew you had a lot of talent and a lot of drive to be really good, and it's obviously paying off. I just got to ask you, what is are you superstitious? I've never asked you that before. As many times as we've talked, a lot of people know about baseball players being superstitious, doing things a certain way. And are you superstitious, and do you see a lot of weird things in the minors like we hear stories of?
Yeah, you do. I'm not superstitious as day-to-day, but if I'm in a game and I'm pitching, like the other day, I was knocking my cleats off from the mud that I was getting from the mound in the same spot after each inning. I was putting a cup of water after I drank it in the same spot. Little things like that. It changes game to game, so it's not one specific thing that I do. But, man, you see a lot of things. Guys take their bat the same way. Guys get rid of a bat if they're not hitting well. So the superstition is there, and you see it in movies and things like that are baseball movies, but it's real. And I'd like to say, before I got off the air, thank you guys for what y'all have done. I know this is a little different, but you guys are special to Alex City, and you've always treated me with respect. And I've always thought highly of you guys, and the people of Alex City have really supported me, and it means a lot to me as I go throughout my career.
Well, Kendall, we can't say enough about you. And, hey, let me tell you something. I know your parents, and so I know what you came from, so I know you were raised right. And we thank them a lot for what they've done for you and what they do in this community. Your dad, a coach here in this community, and just special people to us. So, Kendall, we are pulling for you, my man. You know that, and we'll continue to follow you, and we're going to follow you right on up till the time they call you up to be a Toronto Blue Jay.
Well, I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one. It's blessed to be on the show. Thank you.
Kendall, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. All right, thank you so much. That's Kendall Grayman with the AAA Buffalo Bison with the Toronto Blue Jays organization. He is exactly who he is on that phone right there, folks, and you meet him in person. Just a tremendous person. Again, a tremendous family. Glad to call him an Alex City native here. He really does us proud here in the Lake Martin area, and we wish him nothing but the best. Up against the break, when we come back, Luke will join me, and we'll dive off into some college football. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR's and S&S Tire right after this.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization, wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat, full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma, all with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
Wireless Advantage is Lake Martin's Verizon premium retailer, located in the Marketplace Shopping Center on Highway 280 in Alex City. We've got all the latest cell phones along with the latest Wi-Fi internet products, home phone options, and state-of-the-art tablets. Don't get caught in long lines. Get full Verizon service and products from Apple, BlackBerry, Droid HTZ, iPad, LG, Motorola, and Samsung right here at home. Visit Wireless Advantage in the Marketplace Shopping Center in Alexander City on Highway 280 for all your Verizon wireless needs.
Welcome to Zaxby's. How may I help you?
I wish to be a princess.
We can make that happen.
Thank you.
At Zaxby's, kids care. So in honor of the thousands of children we serve every year, we're proud to once again team up with Make-A-Wish. This year, we're helping to grant the wishes of 50 kids with life-threatening medical conditions. Because every child deserves a little star power. For more information on Zaxby's Kids Care, visit Zaxby's.com.
It's always something. Your car needs a new tire, tuition is due, it's down to the wire. Cheerleading outfits, soccer shoes, football pads, or annual dues. Nellie's in band, she needs a trombone. Good golly Molly, you need a loan. Jimmy broke his arm, he needs a cast. You need money, and you need it fast. When life comes at you, Always Money can help you through. It's easy, convenient, friendly, and fast. You'll get the cash you need the day you need it. So because it's always something, remember Always Money. How much can we loan you today?
What is LMG? It's a team of professionals with the tools to create a successful marketing plan to help your business grow. LMG has successful designs that get results for the individual and the business. We provide signs of all types, screen printing and embroidery, promotional products, web design, audio and video production, and much more. LMG has 3 locations to serve you in Alex City, Dadeville, and the Auburn-Opelika area. Call us at 888-533-6758.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Russell Do-It Center, offering a complete assortment of lumber, building materials, electrical, and plumbing supplies. Russell Do-It Center stores deliver first-class service, top-rate products, and competitive do-it-best pricing.
Welcome back to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and SNS Discount Tire. Brett Pritchard, Luke Robinson here with you for another 90 minutes tonight. We'd love to hear from you. 256-234-6221, 1-800-782-0108. We'll have some trivia questions coming your way here in a little bit for some new Sports Blitz attire that we have. So excited for our new shirts. If you haven't gone to our Sports Blitz page on Facebook or Twitter, you're missing out because we got a brand new T-shirt design. Last year's RTR and WDE designs were a massive hit. A lot of people loved them, and I love this design too. Go to it. Hopefully we can get Justin to pull up a picture of that a little bit later on and show you what the new designs look like. So excited about the new T-shirt design, and you can call in and answer a trivia question, and you can win one of those new T-shirt designs, whether you're an Alabama or an Auburn fan. But we'd love to hear from you out there. Again, I want to thank Kendall Graveman for being on the program. I can't say it enough. I mean, a lot of guys, when they get on the air, they're one way and then they live another lifestyle off the field. That is not the case with Kendall. He's extremely humble. He's very talented. Again, as you have a child and if you have a son and he's in sports, you can only wish to have him emulate Kendall because not only is he a great athlete, but he's a great person off the field.
Yeah, I totally agree. Just the anti-athlete in a lot of ways. I mean, you think of athletes and you think about sometimes how they don't treat the media very nicely or treat fans very nicely, and Kendall's just the opposite of that. And that is kind of the beauty of baseball in general, I think, more so than maybe some of the other sports, because they have to cut their teeth. I mean, especially somebody like Kendall does it in high school, does it in college, has to cut his teeth in the minors, and then he's able to work his way up. So generally, I think a guy like him, who it takes a little bit longer, he's not just a high school phenom who goes straight to the pros and is throwing heat. He's earned his stripes, and it makes for a very humble athlete, and that's what he's been.
Kendall's a great example, Luke, of an athlete, played here in Alabama, went to Mississippi State, chose Mississippi State. He was verbally committed to Auburn. Butch Thompson leaves with an administration change at Auburn, and he goes to Mississippi State. Kendall follows him to Mississippi State. We see that a lot with players being committed to a coach more or less than they are a team. But it was Auburn and Alabama's loss because Kendall grew up an Alabama fan. So he chooses to go to Mississippi State over Auburn and Alabama. Well, we've seen that way too often here in the state of Alabama with Auburn and Alabama's baseball and basketball programs. And, Randy and Andy were talking over on Sports Call today. I don't think ever with the start of fall camp, Auburn basketball has ever been brought up. And they were talking Auburn basketball today, talking about the matchup with Colorado at midnight on ESPN. Bruce Pearl. Auburn knew what they were doing when they went out and got Bruce Pearl. He is dynamic. He is over the top. He is going to find a way to keep them in the limelight. And I know your frustrations on the other side of the state with Anthony Grant. You voiced them over on on Saturday Sports Countdown Saturday, Luke, about how opposite that is. And when Auburn hired Bruce Pearl and what Anthony Grant is to Alabama, I don't think anybody would have foreseen the switch and the momentum in the two basketball programs.
Well, the weird thing is, and as bad as I've been down on Anthony Grant, his recruiting's still pretty good. He got a pretty kick-butt transfer in the Veridell kid, I believe his name, that it comes over from Dunk City, and so that's going to be interesting. It's going to be weird. I mean, look, I've been really down on Anthony Grant, but I was so high on him when he first got here. It's been a long this isn't a situation like Mike Shula that somebody kind of backs into the job and then you see very early and often he can't get it done. There have been signs that Anthony Grant's going to make something happen. It's just, it seems like every time something positive comes out, there's a negative caveat to it. For instance, and I went on a rant about this, playing UCLA is fantastic. Play them at home the Sunday right after Christmas when everybody's going home and everybody's probably tired and they got to go to work the next day. that's not ideal if you ask me. Playing Xavier, I think is a fantastic move. It's great for your RPI. It's a big-name team. Xavier is a pretty big basketball program. Playing them on the day of the SEC title game in football is stupid. It's flat stupid. And maybe Alabama couldn't control it this time, but it doesn't make up for the fact that Alabama's done this now 3 years in a row. And Alabama, in the position they're in under Nick Saban, is always going to be a threat to go to Atlanta and play for the SEC West title. So why schedule a game then when you know no Alabama fans are going to be paying attention to it, even if Alabama's not playing in it?
That's exactly right. I mean, you said if it was whoever, if it was Ole Miss and South Carolina playing, you would watch Ole Miss, South Carolina.
That's right.
I mean, in football. So, again, but it is crazy. I don't think Auburn ever envisioned where their basketball program could go. Bruce Pearl has not coached a game at Auburn yet, but I mean, for there to be so much hype around a program that was virtually dead less than 12 months ago, especially the first week of fall camp for both Auburn and Alabama, and we're talking college basketball. It's unbelievable what a guy can do, and we talk about coaches all the time. Look at what Nick Saban did for Alabama's program. We know Alabama's always had a strong program. They were in the dumps for a little while, couldn't get it going. You get the right guy in there, you prepare yourself to 3 national championships. Auburn, smoke and mirrors a little bit in 2010 with Gene Chizik. The players got it done. They earned it on the field, but then you saw the drop-off and you saw what reality was. And then Auburn gets Gus Malzahn, perhaps maybe the hottest coach in college football right now with the way his system is and all that. You see what he was able to do in one short year and get Auburn back to the top. So it is about the coaches. It is about a program and having people follow that program based on what that coach wants to do. I look at Brett Bielema at Arkansas. We ranked these coaches this past Saturday. Bielema he's trying to go out and poke everybody he can. He's in a sparring match, with Gus Malzahn. He comes out and said he wants Nick Marshall on the field for 4 quarters. I mean, that's fine. That's great and wonderful, but he's trying to find any way he can to fire up the other team, and he don't need to do that.
I don't really understand what he's talking. Why even bring it up? And I do kind of get it because he has to do some crazy things. I mean, the reason we're talking about Bruce Pearl and Auburn is because they've decided to play Colorado at midnight on that ESPN's Marathon of College Basketball. Yep. And, I think even Bruce Pearl said, look, this isn't our ideal time slot, but we got to do something because this isn't the world's best basketball program. And I get where Bielema's doing it. Yeah. Bielema's trying to poke somebody and get some interest out of something, doing something, because otherwise Arkansas is probably the most bland program in the conference right now. And so he's trying his best to manufacture a rivalry. And there really isn't a rivalry just yet. There could be because Gus Malzahn's got Arkansas ties. The fans wanted him.
He's trying to fast forward it to make it one. Yeah.
Auburn has been involved in Arkansas in recruiting and yada, yada, yada. But, until you make it a close game, it's not a rivalry. It's not a rivalry when one team is beating the brakes off another team. And that's what Auburn did to Arkansas last year. We talk about Alabama and Tennessee. I mean, I respect the quote-unquote rivalry as much as anybody, but until Tennessee makes it competitive again, I don't care. I mean, I understand people making fun of third Saturday in October. I don't blame them. I mean,
it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Tennessee's non-competitive, so that's not Alabama's fault. I mean, it is what it is, but
do you want I mean, and now I know what the answer to this is partly, but kind of do you want Tennessee to be back at the top so that third Saturday it means something again? I mean, look, when Auburn Alabama play, when Alabama beats Auburn 49-0, you're perfectly fine with that. When Auburn can beat Alabama 6 years in a row, Auburn fans are perfectly fine with that. I know you're fine with beating Tennessee every year, but after a while you go, I kind of miss that nostalgia a little bit and what that weekend meant.
I get that some Alabama fans probably still hold a grudge against Tennessee and Phil Fulmer, et cetera. And look, I think Phil Fulmer was pretty disgusting while he was there. Throwing out the jabs he did when it sure looked like there were some things going on there that were pretty nefarious in their own right. But I'll say this, I don't hate Tennessee, the school. Like, I don't necessarily hate Auburn. It's just I'd never pull for Auburn under any circumstance. I will pull for Tennessee. If they play in a bowl game, I'll pull for Tennessee. I don't have a problem with that. I look at that more as a Phil Fulmer thing than I do representative of their entire fan base. But do I get a little bit of glee out of watching them be so miserable after they were pointing their fingers at Alabama fans?
Of course you do.
Yeah, I do. But I would prefer, if given the choice, I would rather Tennessee be in Georgia's place than Georgia be where Georgia is right now. I don't necessarily want Tennessee to be Florida in the mid-'90s, but I want Tennessee to be better than they are, because right now, frankly, this school has been an embarrassment to the SEC, and every time the problem is, Tennessee is one of those teams that has for years scheduled at least one difficult opponent out of conference.
Oregon.
And lately they've been embarrassing us as a conference. When we say we're beating our chest saying how good we are, and Tennessee's going to Oregon and getting slapped around, or they're playing Oregon at home and getting slapped around.
That's right. How about Tennessee stay away from the out-of-conference games of top 5 opponents until you can bring your program back. But we're going to talk about Tennessee tonight. We're going to talk about a couple more SEC teams here in our third week of our SEC preview. When we come back, we'll start that SEC third leg of the SEC preview here, and we'll break down kind of how all 14 teams rank tonight, because we're halfway in between. So we'll kind of break down the divisions, talk about that. And then at 8 o'clock, we'll have Bob Kessling, the Tennessee play-by-play announcer. You've also seen Bob Kessling on the Jefferson Pilot, Lincoln Financial game, the early game. He's done a lot of games there. So it'll be interesting to have him on.
Well, one other quick note is funny. Colin Cowherd, who I love, I think he's fantastic. I know he rubs a lot of people the wrong way. Today he predicted Tennessee to beat Alabama, and that was really a weak point for Colin Cowherd to me, because usually he backs things up with facts. If you look at the two rosters and you look at what's coming back and you look at the coaching staffs, you look at the history, no reasonable, sane human being is going to predict Tennessee to beat Alabama.
Alabama would have to turn it over 6 times.
I totally agree with that, and have a lot of injuries. So I think that this was his shock jock moment, which I don't really think of him that way. I don't think of him as the Howard Stern of sports. I think he usually goes out on a limb, but he backs it up with facts. And whether I agree or disagree, I respect that. This particular time, I think he just threw some bread on the water, because, as I've said multiple times, if you want your ratings to go up, say anything negative about Alabama people, and every one of them will say, I'm never listening to your show again, and 200% of them will listen to your show again.
Exactly.
Biblically. I mean, they will listen to it like they're going to church.
It's kind of like the Howard Stern movie, and going through the chronicles of how he became such a top DJ. And they said the people that like Howard Stern listen for an average of 45 minutes, and they go, well, what about the people that hate him? They listen for an hour and 45 minutes.
That's right. That's exactly
because, I mean, so it's just amazing, because people they feed off of that negative energy. We're up against the break. When we come back, we'll begin the third leg of our SEC preview. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR's and SNS Tire right after this.
Bucks Island is one of the oldest boat dealers in Alabama, serving boaters since 1948 with the largest boat showroom in the state. Bass boats featuring Skeeter, cruisers and sport boats featuring Monterey, pontoons featuring Crest, G3 and Voyagers, powered by Mercury and Yamaha. Bucks Island has sold over 10,000 boats, and with a full service and parts and accessories department to keep your boat in top condition. Don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote. Visit Bucks Island on Highway 77 in Southside, or online at bucksisland.com. Give them a call at 1-800-I'm-READY. Bucks Island, where our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
What is LMG? It's a team of professionals with the tools to create a successful marketing plan to help your business grow. LMG has successful designs that get results for the individual and the business. We provide signs of all types, screen printing and embroidery, promotional products, web design, audio and video production, and much more. LMG has 3 locations to serve you in Alex City, Dadeville, and the Auburn-Opelika area. Call us at 888-533-6758.
Don't let pests take your house or business over. Wave the red flag. Red Flag Pest, owned and operated by Scott Davis on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, is licensed, insured, and bonded, and serves the Lake Martin area, specializing in lake homes, residential property, and industrial property. Call for a free inspection today, 256-825-0430, and visit us online at redflagpestcontrol.com. Red Flag Pest Control, when the problem has to stop, guaranteed. Family owned and operated, Holly's Home Furnishings is the Lake Martin area's best choice for all of your furniture needs. Whether you're looking for something new for the living room, dining room, or bedroom, Holly's has something you'll love for every room in your house. Holly's has a great selection of furniture in the most popular names like Lane, Broyhill, Rowe Furniture, as well as the best names in mattresses like Sealy and Tempur-Pedic. You can even get beautiful home decor, everything your home needs, at Holly's Home Furnishings, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City. Visit their website at hollyshomefurnishings.com.
Hello, I'm Russell Building Supply.
And I'm the big box store.
Box, I don't mean to cut you short, but I've got a delivery to make.
A delivery?
Yeah, Russell delivers anywhere in the local area for free, usually on the same day, and that's on top of our low price guarantee.
Really? Free? Are you kidding me?
No, and if you prefer to pick the order up yourself, we'll load it for free.
And on the same day?
Yeah, we're really good at working on short lead times. How about you?
Yeah, I'm short.
Serving Lake Martin and Central Alabama.
Excitement awaits you on beautiful Lake Martin. Alex City Guide Service can provide you with a charter trip of a lifetime. Licensed charter guide David Hare has over 20 years of experience on Lake Martin, specializing in live bait fishing for trophy-sized saltwater striped bass, largemouth bass, and spotted bass. Call Alex City Guide Service today at 256-401-3089 or visit them online at www.alexcityguideservice.com.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Dark Insurance, offering insurance for all your personal needs, including auto, both homeowners and disability. Don't be in the dark. Call Dark Insurance at 256-234-5026.
Welcome back to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. Brett Pritchard and Luke Robinson. Want to remind everybody, coming up at 8 o'clock, we'll have Bob Kessling, the play-by-play announcer for the Tennessee Vols. You don't want to miss that. And we want to thank him for taking time out of his busy schedule to be on our program. But this is the SEC preview. We've got Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt. Ole Miss Rebels are up on the clock for us here on Sports Blitz. So let's break down the Rebels. They do have one of the few senior returning quarterbacks in the conference in Bo Wallace. Hugh Freeze has recruited his tail off the last couple of years. 2 years ago, they had as good a class as anybody outside of Alabama in the conference as far as recruiting, getting the number one player in the country and Robert Kindici. They open up with Boise State in Atlanta. I think that's an interesting matchup, Luke.
It is. I don't think this is Boise State of old.
It's definitely not.
Chris Peterson's gone as head coach, and that may signal the beginning of the end for Boise State. But I do think it's a big-time matchup. And, Ole Miss sometimes has problems getting out of the gate.
They do.
They've had issues with Vandy. Last year, that game with Vandy came right down to the wire. They could have easily lost it. They've lost to Vandy first game of the year in the past, too. So I think it's – and Boise State did go and beat Georgia in the Georgia Dome, 3 or 4 years ago.
That's right.
So, that game could be interesting. And then they go to Vanderbilt. And, look, I know Vanderbilt has lost James Franklin. They've obviously had a coaching change. They don't have the same talent
Derek Mason,
had. Derek Mason, he's gotten some people fired up. But, new coaches always have you fired up for a minute.
Yeah.
So, at Vandy, they should win that. They got Boise State at Vandy, Louisiana Lafayette, and Memphis. And then they're home against Alabama. That's going to be huge. I predict that'll be a college game day type atmosphere. I think Alabama will be undefeated coming into that game as well. So you've got two SEC West opponents that are both undefeated. Ole Miss is just dying. Itching to beat somebody big, and this is going to be their shot.
Not a good, it doesn't set up well for Alabama because it's really their first big game. They
do have Florida at home.
It's their first big game of the – I'm talking about for Ole Miss.
Oh, for Ole Miss,
It's their first big game. It doesn't set up good for Alabama because, Alabama's been there and done that. Ole Miss, they kind of get their legs on them. They have an open week between Louisiana Lafayette and Memphis, and they'll Memphis is definitely not a threat, but Alabama coming in, they have starred that. Of course, Auburn a few weeks down the line will show up, but in between there they have LSU, Tennessee, and Texas A&M. So, they can't just look that far ahead to Auburn. They've definitely starred Alabama and Auburn on their schedule, and they definitely like to get a win there, at least one of those games. And if Ole Miss is ever going to take that next step, they're going to have to beat one of those two.
Well, if I were an Ole Miss fan, the games that would probably scare me the most, outside of somebody like in Alabama, I would say that Memphis game the week before Alabama, because they have a week off. And I can tell you, they're not going to spend that whole week off worried about the Memphis Tigers. They're going to come into Memphis, and they may be sleepwalking. Memphis isn't an incredibly talented team, but Ole Miss has lost to lesser opponents. And then the week after Alabama, they travel to Texas A&M. Texas A&M lost Johnny Manziel, but they've still got some weapons. It's at College Station. So it's those two games that sandwich the Alabama game that would probably scare me as much as anything if I were Ole Miss.
Ole Miss has one on their schedule like we were talking about with, was it Florida State that has the Citadel?
Yeah, but Texas A&M's got Lamar. I think that's the one I've really picked on the
Ole
most.
Miss has got Presbyterian.
And that's awful.
Come on now.
Church flag team?
They got Presbyterian the week after Auburn and then another open date. So basically that, 2 open dates and then at Arkansas, Mississippi State to close out the season. All right, where does this Hugh Freeze team finish in the West? Are they able to win? All right, let's not pick who it's going to be, Alabama or Auburn. But let's say they beat one of them. They beat Auburn or Alabama. Do they have a shot to win the Western Division?
I don't think so. I predicted in the paper that they would actually finish, I believe, 5th in the West behind Alabama, Auburn, Mississippi State, LSU, and then Ole Miss. Just here's the problem. Do I think they'll beat Alabama? No. Do I think they'll beat Auburn at home? No, I do not. Do I think they'll beat LSU on the road? No. So there's 3 losses against 3 teams that are going to finish ahead of you, so you lose all tiebreakers. And then you've also got to go to Texas A&M, you've got to go to Arkansas, and you've got the Egg Bowl right there at the end of the season. And
I think 8-4.
I think Mississippi State's the surprise team of the conference. So, I think you lose another one of those, and even if you finish 8-4 and go 4-4 in the conference, that's no better than 5th in the West.
That's exactly right, and I think that 4th loss will be to Mississippi State. So I think you and I agree that Auburn, Alabama, LSU, and Mississippi State are losses. And let me tell you, I don't know. We'll talk about Tennessee here in just a minute, but Tennessee, hey, they can beat Ole Miss. And Ole Miss, Bo Wallace has a tendency to turn the football over. So, they look to – they've got a very good receiver over there, and they've got some great playmakers on offense. They've got a decent defense, Luke, but the schedule sets up for them, again, the West. Everybody can't finish first or second. That's just what it boils down to.
Well, and here's the thing. I think Ole Miss has a very good player at several positions, but they don't have a team of really strong players. Yeah. And I look at somebody like Alabama or LSU or Auburn, and I feel like their teams are better. Kimdichie, I think, could start for Alabama, Auburn, LSU. I think Laquan Treadwell could start for Alabama, Auburn, or LSU. Yeah. But do I think that whoever else they have behind them, I just think you need more weapons than that.
1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. That is Ole Miss. We think that they'll finish 8-4, somewhere around in there. And we'll continue to talk about the Rebels throughout the rest of the program. But up next, we will have Bob Kessling on the program at 8 o'clock. We've got one more segment in between there as we have the shortest segment in the history of television coming up between there and Bob Kessling, as I've been notified by our producer. But we'll come back. Some interesting polls out there, as always, getting you ready for college football. I think ESPN's doing another fun one with the top 16 players of all time. When you rank them, seed them, and play them against each other, haven't you already pretty much decided who the number one player is? And that kind of what you've done already?
Well, and I think it's actually the way it's set up is the best individual seasons of all time.
That's what it is.
And, they've got the number one seed is Barry Sanders, and I don't even see anybody getting
Why would
that. That was ridiculous. If you're a college football history buff, or if you weren't born in time to see Barry Sanders play at Oklahoma State, seeing him play for the Lions was fantastic too. but watching him that season at Oklahoma State was absolutely ridiculous. And it's one of those kind of players that everybody in the nation could get behind. Everybody seemed to love him. He was a humble kid, and he was the kind of guy that he got you interested. He made things interesting in Stillwater, Oklahoma, which was completely unheard of.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll break those individual performances down, and then we'll get ready for Bob Kessling at the top of the hour. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR's and S&S Tire right after this.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
Sperlin Recycling is an Alabama-based recycling company specializing in the recycling of metal, aluminum, copper, ferrous, and non-ferrous waste. Sperlin Recycling is available for all your commercial recycling needs, including demolition, on-site scrap removal, and roll-off services. Sperlin Recycling is a family-owned corporation with several generations of experience. Call us today at 256-234-0903 and visit us online at www.sperlinrecycling.com.
When you're on Lake Martin and looking for your own boat, it pays to know what the locals know. Alex City Marine in Alex City and the all-new Alex City Marine South on Highway 63 across from the Mini Mall is Lake Martin's premier Landau pontoon boat dealer and the area's authorized Suzuki, Honda, and Mercury outboard dealer. Alex City Marine has the industry's best brands, and they back it up with the industry's best boat repair with marine-certified specialists that get it done right. Whether summerization or a full overhaul, Alex City Marine has you covered on both ends of the lake. Know what the locals know. Alex City Marine, Lake Martin's complete sales and service center with 2 locations to serve you.
JR Sports Bar and Grill. Mondays, all you can eat fingers, $13.25. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, all you can eat wings, $12.25. Every day, kids in uniforms eat for $1.99. Alabama Street in Alexander City and Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
For over 60 years, East Central Alabama has relied on Jackson Refrigeration for installation and service on all brands, including Rheem, Goodman, and York. Now we've expanded into A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, a division of Jackson Refrigeration. We still make your comfort our priority and expect our staff to be the most experienced, dedicated, and trained to give you the highest quality of sales and service. When choosing your heating and air company, choose our family of professionals. The all-new A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, the all-new division of Jackson Refrigeration.
When it comes to providing the very finest in funeral services, there's one name that stands alone. At Radney's Funeral Home, we take pride in our reputation as one of the leading funeral homes in this part of Alabama. Since 1938, our name has stood for honesty, integrity, and quality. These are the principles that have made Radney's Funeral Home the #1 choice when you want the very finest in funeral service for your family. Radney's Funeral Home, the independent hometown funeral home serving Tallapoosa and surrounding counties.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Bice Motors in Alexander City. Brian and his crew offer the latest lines of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, as well as the best used inventory around. Guaranteed lowest price. Bice.
Welcome back to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR's and S&S Tire. Rather than trying to cram 16 individual performances in about 3 minutes in the shortest segment here in TV history, we'll just go ahead and do a little preview of Tennessee as we get ready for Bob Kessling here in about 5 minutes on the program. And Tennessee, again, Luke, what do they have to do to turn things around in Knoxville? I mean, is Butch Jones the guy? I mean, he comes from Cincinnati. Last year, that Florida-Tennessee game, I just can't get that out of my mind. And I knew right then Florida was in trouble for the year because Tennessee was horrible, Florida was horrible. I think they set a record for turnovers in the first quarter. I don't think either team wanted the football. Florida was able to win that game, but it was not very good. Tennessee ends up getting a win later on in the year, I believe, in the SEC. Did they beat? Who did they beat? They
beat Kentucky.
They beat Kentucky, and so. But again, they've got a 2-game losing streak to Vanderbilt, as you said. This is not the Tennessee football that we're used to growing up with. For a younger generation that may have only been around, it's just like for my son and your son is 10 years old. Tennessee is non-existent in their eyes.
Well, they also beat South Carolina.
Well, they did. That's the one I was thinking about.
Which it cost South Carolina the SEC East, without a doubt.
They did, and they beat them in Knoxville. They kicked the field goal. That's the game I was trying to remember. I wanted to say it, but then I thought, no, that wasn't the team. But it was that game that cost them the opportunity to go to Atlanta and play Auburn. So it's going to be interesting to hear. I'm interested to hear if Bob Kessel's more upbeat heading into the season, because when Auburn was headed to Knoxville that week of the Auburn-Tennessee game last year, he just sounded like, I'm ready for the season to be over. This team's not very good. We know that. Let's fast forward to the future. And then Auburn just went up there and just beat the brakes off of them. And so he kind of knew that was coming, foresaw that coming. Tennessee is a team that's always, when the divisions were formed, Florida, Tennessee, and Georgia. And it was mainly Florida and Tennessee at the top. Georgia was the third best team. Now Tennessee's not even the third best team.
Oh, yeah, I don't think they're the third best team by a long shot. And this schedule does them absolutely no favors. I mean, you open up with Chucky his last name escapes me right now, Brett, at Utah State, the quarterback who gave Auburn such a time. He's back this year for Utah State, and that's going to be heck for Tennessee to get through that game. And then if you get through that game, you got Arkansas State. And, yes, they probably will win that game. It wouldn't be the most unheard of upset in the history of college football if they lost it, though. Then at Oklahoma, at Georgia, and Florida at home. That's a 3
How bad is that Oklahoma game going to be?
This is probably going to be bad because Bob Stoops is going to want to make a point. I mean, I really believe Bob Stoops is going to want to say, he's going to want to be able to say, hey, I've beaten the SEC 2 times in a row in the span of a few months now. And which is funny because he plays Alabama in a meaningless bowl game, and he plays a really bad Tennessee team, and he's still going to get bragging rights. That's what's going to be frustrating to us as SEC fans.
That schedule's brutal in that stretch for Tennessee. I mean,
it gets no easier. You get Chattanooga as kind of your week off, but then you're at Ole Miss, Alabama at home, and at South Carolina.
I don't see any of those as wins.
I mean, where are your wins? Kentucky at home? I mean, that's probably a win. Missouri at home?
Chucky Keaton.
Chucky Keaton, there we go.
There you go. So, again, let's find out from Bob Kesselman. We'll take a break here on Sports Blitz Live. When we come back, the play-by-play announcer for the Tennessee Bobs, Bob Kesselman, will be on the phone with us. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR's and S&S Tire, right after this.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
What is LMG? It's a team of professionals with the tools to create a successful marketing plan to help your business grow. LMG has successful designs that get results for the individual and the business. We provide signs of all types, screen printing and embroidery, promotional products, web design, audio and video production, and much more. LMG has 3 locations to serve you in Alex City, Dadeville, and the Auburn-Opelika area. Call us at 888-533-6758.
S&S Discount Tires just added a brand new 3rd location in New Site to help better serve the New Site, Mella Valley, and Clay County area. S&S Discount Tire has the best prices on tires around with the most qualified service techs. S&S Discount Tire is the area's leading volume tire dealer because we sell tires the right way by making them affordable with service beyond compare. S&S Discount Tire in Newside is located right across the street from East Building Supply. Call us today at 256-392-4022.
Sperlin Recycling is an Alabama-based recycling company specializing in the recycling of metal, aluminum, copper, ferrous, and non-ferrous waste. Sperlin Recycling is available for all your commercial recycling needs, including demolition, on-site scrap removal, and roll-off services. Sperlin Recycling is a family-owned corporation with several generations of experience. Call us today at 256-234-0903 and visit us online at www.sperlinrecycling.com.
At Brown Nursing Home, you'll find quality care and comfortable living. We take great pride in our rehabilitation services, including short-term rehabilitation. We offer speech, occupational, and physical therapy, as well as skilled nursing care. Brown is located on Washington Street in Alexander City. For more information, contact Cecily Lee, the administrator, at 256-329-9061.
Hello, I'm State Farm Agent Karen Chanel. I specialize in helping families and individuals like yourself in the Alexander City and Lake Martin communities. With over 20 years experience with State Farm and a dynamic team of licensed professionals, I am committed to helping you manage the risk of everyday life. And we not only consider it an honor, but a privilege to assist you in meeting your insurance and financial services needs. I sincerely look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Auburn Blitz, brought to you by Dane Sharp, attorney at law, helping injured people get the full benefit of their case. Call Dane today at 256-825-4631.
Hey everybody, and welcome back into Sports Blitz Live. Luke Robinson with an unexpected solo session here in between breaks. We're efforting to get Bob Kessling on. He's busy right now, as he probably is. All play-by-play guys are going to be pretty busy right now. It's going to be hard to get a hold of them. They're preparing for the season. I don't blame them one iota. So what we're going to do, I'm going to talk a little bit about this article that I saw right before the show, but talking about merchandise and what kind of merchandise is sold by colleges. It's on AL.com. It's a pretty fascinating read. The top 25 schools by merchandise sold. Number one, Texas. That's kind of hard to deny, though there's no way that anybody's going to be able to surpass them. I was in Austin recently. Say what you want to about the Longhorns and the troubles they've had recently. They're always going to have a pretty avid following, and Texas is so huge, it's just a national brand. Number two is Alabama, and this is for the second straight year. Michigan is number 3 and Notre Dame number 4. I'm a little surprised there. I would think there would be some tail off, but you know they're still two very high national brands. But if you want to know why the SEC is the ruler of the roost, you got Alabama at 2, Georgia 5, Florida 6, LSU 7, and Texas A&M comes in at number 9. Then just outside the top 10, you got Auburn at 11 and Arkansas at 14. So you've got 7 SEC teams in the top 14. That's a huge number, and just tells you again why the SEC is so popular. And we talked about it earlier about the SEC network being put on DirecTV and on Charter. And this is absolutely monumental. Me as a DirecTV customer, I'm thrilled about it. Can't wait for it. It's going to be on channel 611. Just got an email about it, and I'm very excited. Can't wait for August 14th. But I saw on Twitter some other folks were kind of making fun of another conference's channel, the Pac-12 channel. Is there a Pac-12 channel? As far as I know, I mean, it hadn't been on anything, and as far as I know, it's not anywhere. So it's funny. Everybody likes to talk about the SEC, and they're not all that, and they're not that big, they're not that bad. But the merchandise sales tell you one thing, and the popularity of the SEC channel tells you one thing. And it's hard to, when you can back up your bragging with success like the SEC has had, being in the last 7 national championship games, and then you have also the fact that the SEC channel is so big and so popular nationwide. It's hard to deny that the SEC is definitely the king of college football. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sports Blitz Live. Hopefully we'll have Bob Kessling on. We'll be back in just a minute.
What is LMG? It's a team of professionals with the tools to create a successful marketing plan to help your business grow. LMG has successful designs that get results for the individual and the business. We provide signs of all types, screen printing and embroidery, promotional products, web design, audio and video production, and much more. LMG has 3 locations to serve you in Alex City, Dadeville, and the Auburn-Opelika area. Call us at 888-533-6758.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a 4-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
If you've been seriously injured in a car wreck or truck wreck, don't let the insurance company knock you out without taking responsibility for your medical expenses, pain and suffering, and car repair. You need a fighter. I'm a former Golden Glove champion, and I will fight for you to get the money you deserve. Call Tripp and put a fighter in your corner.
Call the Walton Law Firm at 334-321-3000 or toll free at 866-321-3330. Put a fighter in your corner.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be provided is greater than that of other attorneys.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
The summer clearance event is in full swing at Bice Motors in Alex City.
Don't roll the dice. Buy it at Bice.
We're just a short drive away from Invoice every day. I bought it, Bice.
Lowest price.
Nice price.
Take our advice. Buy it at Bice.
I told you twice, don't roll the dice.
I bought it at Bice.
They're really nice.
Guaranteed lowest price, or we'll pay you the difference in price twice.
Stop in or visit BiceChryslerDodge.com for the best prices of the year.
When you're on Lake Martin and looking for your own boat, it pays to know what the locals know. Alex City Marine in Alex City and the all-new Alex City Marine South on Highway 63 across from the Mini Mall is Lake Martin's premier Landau pontoon boat dealer and the area's authorized Suzuki, Honda, and Mercury outboard dealer. Alex City Marine has the industry's best brands, and they back it up with the industry's best boat repair with marine certified specialists that get it done right. Whether summarization or a full overhaul, Alex City Marine has you covered on both ends of the lake. Know what the locals know. Alex City Marine, Lake Martin's complete sales and service center with 2 locations to serve you.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Sperlin Recycling. For all your commercial recycling or demolition needs, call them today at 256-234-0903 or visit them online at www.sperlinrecycling.com.
Hey everybody, and welcome back into Sports Blitz Live. Luke Robinson with you, and this time we do have the play-by-play voice of the Tennessee Volunteers in both football and basketball, the one, the only, Mr. Bob Kessling. Bob, how are you doing tonight?
I couldn't be better, guys. Good to talk to you again.
Thanks so much for being with us, and you're a friend of the program. You've been on a few times with us, and we certainly enjoy it every time you're on. Tennessee, to me, over the last 5, 6, 7 years, has been one of the most intriguing teams in all of college football because it's a team that has so much history, that seemingly has so much potential, and you can tell the fans are just waiting for something really, really good to happen, and it hadn't happened yet, but I think the excitement is right there on the verge, isn't it, Bob?
Well, I think a lot of people are excited about Butch Jones and where he has the program headed. Obviously, he's been very relentless in his recruiting. He's attracted good players here, but they've got 32 young players. They've got 32 freshmen, junior college players that either came in at midterm or in this summer. And so when you look at your 85 scholarship total, and more than a third of those are going to be freshmen or first-year players, you got to have them grow up in a hurry. So that's the big challenge for this team. Can they be ready to play this challenging schedule right off the start, and not miss a beat, not be intimidated, and not show rookie mistakes, and go on and be able to play at a high level. And that's a challenge. Butch Jones is trying to tell everybody to be patient, and of course the fans are chomping at the bit to get back to winning like Tennessee used to do.
Yeah, I think you said some key words in there. Where are the fans on the Butch Jones patience meter? I know he hadn't been there very long, obviously, and recruiting is going gangbusters, but it's the SEC, and fans are notoriously impatient.
Well, they are. I mean, everybody, with the investment that the fans make, the investment the schools make in these programs and these stadiums, and with every game on television and all the publicity, I mean, people expect your team to win, and they want you to win right now. And so there's not a lot of patience. But this is not like the NFL or baseball where you make a bunch of trades or get free agents and fill holes that you need. I mean, you got to go out and recruit players, and then you hope they're good enough to help you. And that's what Butch Jones has done. He thinks that he's got a lot of young players. I think the one thing you'll see different in this year's Tennessee team is speed. I mean, they've been woefully deficient in that department the last couple of years, and now it's been a point of emphasis. So I think they're faster in the secondary. I think they're faster at wide receiver. So there's a lot of things to be positive about, but still, with all that being said, they're still so awfully young. How long is the learning curve, and when can they get up to speed, and when can they really challenge for an SEC Eastern Division championship?
I've always respected the fact that Tennessee always scheduled one tough non-conference opponent just about every year. Notre Dame, UCLA, Cal, Oregon. This year it's Oklahoma. They had Cincinnati, I believe, when Butch Jones was the coach, ironically, on the schedule.
Right, yeah.
So this schedule is incredibly, incredibly daunting. What are your thoughts on it, and where do you think Tennessee is going to be able to pull the biggest upset?
Well, that's yet to be determined. When not only, as you mentioned, Oklahoma, but the first game is against Utah State. Now, this is a Utah State team that has been very good the last 3 or 4 years. Been to 3 straight bowl games. They're expected to make a lot of noise in the Mountain West this year. It's a team that won 7 of its last 8 games. They've got Chucky Keaton, who's being mentioned for the Heisman Trophy. So that's going to be a very daunting first game coming up. Then you've got the regular gauntlet with the SEC. Tennessee every year has to play Alabama, which nobody else in the league has to do on a consistent basis. But Tennessee plays them every single year, at least from the East. And then you have other, the other teams in the East. You got Georgia, Florida, South Carolina every year. So you add Oklahoma, Utah State. Pretty difficult schedule, but that's what Butch Jones has said. They're not going to back down, and they're not going to shy away from people. They want to lift this program to the level where they can compete with those guys every single Saturday, and so that's where Butch Jones wants to take the program. Will it be tough? Sure. Which team they can knock off? I don't know. They played South Carolina, played with Georgia last year. Probably should have beaten Georgia except for that fumble at the end of the game. So I think last year Butch Jones's team was very competitive, and we'll see how competitive this young team can be this year.
With losses devastating really along both lines on offensive and defensive, Tennessee's really going to have a big-time focus on their skill positions this year. They're always known as wide receiver U, and they've got Marquez North coming in. They've got Josh Smith coming back and Malone. Man, they've got some big-time wide receivers. Who out of that bunch do you think has the most potential?
Well, the one player you didn't mention is Von Pearson. He's a junior college player, one of the top wide receivers coming out of junior college. So I think he'll be an immediate impact. He's a long ball threat. So one thing that Tennessee has not had, although they've had some really good receivers the last several years. You look at Justin Hunter, you look at Cordero Patterson, Derrick Rogers. I mean, those 3 guys are all in the NFL right now. Michael Rivera, who's now playing in the NFL. So, Tennessee's had some receivers. They just have not had the big play offense the last couple of years where they throw it out pattern and maybe get 5 yards and the guy gets tackled. Or, sometimes they were able to hit the home run with Justin Hunter and Cordell Patterson. But last year, that aspect was just non-existent. They, for whatever reason, couldn't break a long pass. They couldn't break a tackle and turn it into a long gain. And they think this receiving core can do that. They think that Pearson and Josh Malone and Marquez North, and then you mentioned Josh Smith as well, and Pig Howard is back. That gives you a lot of depth, and that so you can rotate guys and keep guys fresh. And so they think that you're going to have more speed at the wideout, and this is going to be a team that will pitch and catch a lot better than the Tennessee teams the last couple of years, maybe.
How has the fan base gravitated towards Dylan Bates? This is a guy I predict will be a fan favorite from day one.
Well, Bill Bates was always a fan favorite. He was a local guy and came on and really just played with a lot of vigor every single time he was out there. Ferocious hitter, just a tremendous guy, and being a local product from Farragut High School here, that made it that much more special. And then with his career with the Dallas Cowboys was just terrific, and he beat a bunch of odds to play a lot of years in the NFL. So, he's always had a soft spot in everybody's heart around here. Everybody's always liked Bill Bates. And now that Dylan is here, it might prove out that Dylan's, I think he's going to be bigger than his dad. I think he's probably faster than his dad. Is he the type player his dad is? That's yet to be seen. But he's a guy that does have a great work ethic. They've been very impressed with the fact he's put on about 15 pounds since he's been here this summer, and that's all muscle. He can run, and so they hope that he's a guy that they can slide him right in there from day one, and he can contribute as a freshman. He's one of those guys that they've got penciled up on the board, right now, thinking that this is a guy that can and maybe will have to help this team if they want to have a winning season and get to a bowl game.
Bob, this may just be me, but it feels like A.J. Johnson has been at Tennessee since 1994.
Yeah, I know it. He's been around a while. He's had a very productive career. He's been over 100 tackles the last 2 years, and he did a lot of soul searching about coming back or going to the NFL or what he wanted to do, and he just kind of decided he still had work to do. And it's amazing some of the veterans on this team. I mean, they didn't, when they signed to go to Tennessee, they weren't banking on not going to a bowl game and having losing seasons. That's not what Tennessee's been about for all these years. So, AJ, I think he's got a very strong bond with the coaching staff, and especially Butch Jones. And I think that the thought of getting this program back and getting into a bowl game and leaving it in a better place than when he came in, I think is very appealing to AJ. So he's worked hard. He has worked on, I think the one thing that he knows he needs to improve on, especially when he goes to the next level, is sideline to sideline. He's got to be a better tackler. If you get in between the tackle box, A.J. Johnson is going to make the tackle and put a hurt on you. But it's when you get outside on the flanks that A.J. really has had to work on, and he's getting a lot better at it. In fact, he was much better last year than he was the year before, and that's one thing he's really worked on, that speed, sideline to sideline. That's what they're looking for from those linebackers, and he's gotten much better at that. So they're expecting a monster year out of A.J. Johnson because of the fact of his leadership and how hard he's worked, and the fact that he made the decision that he wanted to come back to Tennessee. And now they hope that's going to be very beneficial.
One thing I noticed in Butch Jones recruiting, specifically last year and really also carrying over to this year, is that he's beginning to reclaim the state of Tennessee. That's one thing that I've always thought Tennessee had a problem with. You think about guys like Donta Hightower who end up at Alabama, and they should be headed to Tennessee. He's doing a fantastic job of reclaiming that state, isn't he?
Well, another one, you didn't mention Patrick Willis, who went down to Ole Miss and had such a fabulous career, and did in Tennessee missed out on him. So there's such a big state. I mean, but there's a list of players that you wish that might have gone to Tennessee and might have been a different thing. But I think you're right that Butch Jones has really concentrated on closing down the borders, keeping the good guys in state. And I think when you look from the recruitment of Josh Malone and Jalen Hurd from the Middle Tennessee area, Vic Wharton. Those are big gets for Tennessee, and they hope that's the backbone of a couple of strong recruiting classes going forward. That's going to be a bulk of some really good players from this state that's going to help Tennessee, again, keep climbing the ladder. So Butch Jones has really emphasized the Nashville area. They've really concentrated hard on Memphis. When he was at Cincinnati, they had coaching staff, their coaching staff recruited the Middle Tennessee area too. So several of the coaches already had connections with coaches in Middle Tennessee, and that proved to be a big benefit for Coach Jones and his staff when they came on board.
One final question, Bob. I'm going to take you away from football and lead you into basketball. Of course, Auburn hired Bruce Pearl. What's been the reaction now that things have had a chance to calm down a little bit by the Tennessee fans?
Well, I think that obviously Tennessee at the end of the year really put on a strong run, and getting to the Sweet 16 was a special thing for this basketball program. When you look back, it was 16-11 at midseason, and suddenly they turn it on, and Gonzo Martin and the players get on the same page, and they make this great run to the Sweet 16, and really came within one questionable call of knocking off Michigan and getting to the Elite Eight. And who knows after that? But there was turmoil, and there was some distraught feelings, and it was kind of a bizarre thing with the fact that Bruce was still living here in town, and Gonzo's trying to coach this basketball team, and Bruce is actively out looking for a new coaching job. So it was an uncomfortable feeling for Gonzo, an uncomfortable feeling for some fans who supported Gonzo Martin, and in the end, he just decided this was not the best place for him. Now Donnie Tyndall's on board, and everybody really likes Donnie. It's the fire, the fact that he's basically rebuilt his roster in the course of about 2 weeks, and that shows you there he's got some great connections in the recruiting lines, because if he didn't, it would have been hard to go out and just basically rebuild, get 10 new players, basically, is what he did. So I think fans here are excited. I think they still have fond feelings for Bruce, and I guess they'll wish him luck, except for the times that Auburn plays Tennessee. But I don't think anybody's wishing any ill will on Bruce. They're appreciative of the 6 great years that he had here, and so he's off to a new challenge. And now Donnie Tyndall tries to bring Tennessee back to the NCAA tournament and tries to get this program built back up to those high levels.
Well, Bob, best of luck to you and to the Volunteers this season. Really hoping they can break on through and make a bowl game this year. It's going to be tough against this schedule, but they've got some talent, and they're turning this thing around, and we wish y'all well.
Well, I appreciate that, and Butch Jones is working hard every day, and I think the fans are excited. We'll just see how this team plays. So thanks for having me on tonight, guys. You guys have a great season as well.
All right, Bob, we'll have you on again soon. Thanks a lot.
Okay, take care.
That was Bob Kessling, the play-by-play voice of the Tennessee Volunteers. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sports Blitz Live.
Bradbury Medical Equipment serves the Lake Martin area's needs with durable medical equipment and respiratory care. Bradbury Medical Equipment is home-owned and operated, providing skilled, qualified, and professional people to set up and deliver all of their equipment. Bradbury Medical Equipment provides 24-hour service and will file all insurance claims, making claims trouble-free. Located on Airport Drive in Alexander City, Bradbury Medical Equipment, a history of neighborly care. Call them today at 256-215-8654.
JR's Catering is your premier choice for catering for any occasion in the Lake Martin area. Their quality food service can cater any event from banquets, family celebrations, charity events, political gatherings, as well as corporate catering. For delicious food of any kind and great service, call on JR's Catering today at 256-329-2328.
Hello, I'm Russell Building Supply.
And I'm the Big Box Store.
Box, I don't mean to cut you short, but I've got a delivery to make.
A delivery?
Yeah, Russell delivers anywhere in the local area for free, usually on the same day, and that's on top of our low price guarantee.
Really? Free? Are you kidding me?
No, and if you prefer to pick the order up yourself, we'll load it for free.
And on the same day?
Yeah, we're really good at working on short lead times. How about you?
Yeah, I'm short.
Serving Lake Martin and Central Alabama.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp. If you've been injured in an auto accident, don't choose an attorney simply because they have flashy television commercials and tons of billboards. Call a local attorney who can give your case the personal attention it needs and deserves. For over 20 years, I've handled hundreds of auto accidents, and I take pride in the personal service we provide and the results we obtain for our clients. So if you've been injured, give me a call today and put our team to work for you.
In this moment, you want a team that stands behind you so you can perform your best. At Auto Owners Insurance, it's how we do business every day. Because along with our independent agents, no one works harder to keep you in the game. Auto Owners Insurance.
Call Dark Insurance today, 256-234-5026.
Lila's Engraving, celebrating 20 years of business in Alexander City, is proud to supply the Lake Martin area with all of its trophies, plaques, name tags, and any other engraving needs. Lila's also specializes in custom framing of any size picture or portrait. Lila's Engraving has been and continues to be a proud sponsor of Lake Martin area athletics. So go by and see or call Lila's Engraving at 256-234-6004.
Bama Blitz, brought to you by Bradbury Medical Center, offering durable medical equipment, including wheelchairs, oxygen, hospital beds, and more. 256-215-8654.
Welcome back to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. And again, we'll have this is the Bama Blitz segment. We did have a little bit of a gap there, Luke, because of trying to get Bob Kesselman on. But the Bama Blitz brought to you by Mike Bradbury. And Bradbury Medical Center for all your medical needs. Make sure you call them Mike Bradbury. In the Auburn Blitz, we'll have it a little bit later on, sponsored by Dane Sharp, attorney at law, and hopefully have Andy Graham on a little bit more. But
in the Bama Blitz, we're going to talk about Vanderbilt.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to kind of shift around. It's just the SEC preview right now. And we will talk about Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt, a team has won 9 consecutive games, 9 games, 2 consecutive years, rather. But James Franklin exits stage right and goes to Penn State. They do go out and get a pretty good hire in Derek Mason. I mean, we yet to see what Derek Mason can do at Vanderbilt, but there's a lot of energy around that program. So let's talk about the schedule. Let's talk about who they've got returning. I don't think anybody expects Vanderbilt to win 9 games this year, but can they make life miserable for Tennessee again? Can they make life miserable for Ole Miss? Can they ruin somebody's year? I definitely think that's a yes.
Well, he couldn't ask for a better 5 opening games, I suppose, at least in this conference. I mean, this is going to be about as easy as it comes. Temple at home, and I believe that game is on a Thursday night, so that'll open up, and that's going to be on the SEC Network, if I'm not mistaken. Then they've got Ole Miss, so you've got a couple of extra days to prepare. You've got Massachusetts, and then you've got South Carolina at home still. Granted, they're the SEC East favorite, but you've got them at home, and then at Kentucky before you really step out of your comfort zone and you go to Georgia. And Charleston Southern at Missouri, Old Dominion, Florida at Mississippi State, Tennessee. So
the schedule's not.
You avoid Auburn, you avoid LSU, you avoid Alabama, you avoid Texas A&M out of the West. I mean, arguably the top 4 teams out of the West. Maybe Texas A&M is debatable, but and you play some teams that you've had a pretty good record against lately. I mean, and then you look at Temple, Massachusetts, Old Dominion, Charleston Southern. There's 4 wins right there. You should win all of those games. Can you sneak out 2 conference wins? And I think the answer is yes. I hesitate to say where they are at Kentucky. I say that's one of them.
Mississippi State could be a win on the road.
They could beat Mississippi State. I think they could beat Ole Miss.
They can beat Tennessee.
Hey, look, they beat Florida last year. I think they can do it again. They could beat Tennessee. They got them at home. They got Florida and Tennessee at home. The problem's going to be you play those 2 games, and they're arguably very, very winnable, but you play them very late in the season when your depth begins to wear on you a little bit. The fact that you're Vanderbilt begins to wear on you a little bit. Stephen Rivers should be the quarterback, the brother of Philip. We saw him in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game.
Right.
Thought he was incredibly talented. He's transferred from LSU to Vanderbilt in another long line of quarterbacks. I'll take it a step further and say around the South, if you want to include Jacob Coker, who have transferred from one Southern school to another one. You got Zach Mettenberger, Cam Newton, Nick Marshall. I mean, just on and on down the list. You've seen a lot of guys transfer all over the place. And in this case, Stephen Rivers ended up at Vanderbilt. I think he has a lot of talent. He's a big kid. He doesn't remind me a whole heck of a lot about his brother.
No, not Philip. Yeah,
but the question is going to be: does Vanderbilt have any weapons to help him? I think Stephen Rivers will be okay. I'm looking up and down their roster. I don't see a lot else here that gives me a lot of hope. That's the problem.
Yeah, and you don't really expect that, but they have had players in the past that have stood out. They've been fortunate to have some very good receivers that have played. They've had some very good linebackers from time to time. They've had one or two guys that were stand-off-the-paper guys, but this year just not there.
No Jordan Matthews, and that's
definitely
going to be
not
huge.
Jordan
Of course,
Matthews,
Alabama's own Jordan Matthews. So, that you can't ask for a better kid, a better leader than Jordan Matthews, and you lose him, and all of a sudden, when you need that first down and it's 3rd and 4 in a big game, who do you throw it to? I mean, it was a no-brainer to Jordan Matthews for the longest time, and now he's no longer there.
So Vanderbilt, the final verdict on the Commodores, 500.
5 and 7, I think.
Oh.
I'm going to go with 5 and 7, maybe
6 and 6.
Maybe.
I think maybe with some breaks they go 6 and 6. That's not too bad for Derek Mason's first year, but the schedule very favorable for Vanderbilt to be able to get to those 6 wins, and maybe they can pick up 2 conference wins. Go back to Tennessee for a minute. Bob Kessling, you and him talked. You still hear in his voice, if you've been to a practice, how do you say, well, you can still hear that in Bob Kessling's voice. There's just not a lot of confidence.
Well, and one thing that he brought up, and Tennessee has always been known as wide receiver U, and they had a couple of good wide receivers last year or the year before.
Cordarrelle Patterson, and couldn't get it done.
And now you've got Marquez North, who I think is fabulous. You've got Josh Smith and Josh Malone. Josh Malone, one of the top wide receivers in the country this past year. And you've got Von Pearson, who you heard Kessling talk about, one of the top JUCO wide receivers. So you've got 4 very viable options, and you've got Marlon Lane at running back, who's not incredible, but he was well known in recruiting circles, and he's got a little bit of talent. But you do have a kid named Jalen Hurd, who's a true freshman out of the Nashville area. He was a 5-star kid. He's fabulous. The problem is, who's going to get him the ball? You got Justin Worley, okay, and you've got Josh Dobbs, who came in and played a little bit against Alabama last year. He's again, I would say serviceable, not great. And then the problem's going to be, where's your offensive lineman? Where's your defensive lineman? In the SEC, you don't have an offensive line and a defensive line.
Doesn't matter how
you
good
can
your
fold up
receivers
10.
are.
Yeah, you can have the best receiver in the world. You just better, as soon as this snaps, you better just hum it.
That's the problem with the Vols, and again, I don't see much improvement this year. But 1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. Up against the break, I will throw this trivia out there. We will have Rob Carter, the head football coach for Beauregard High School, on. We are a high school-based show, too, and we talk a lot of high school, especially when it gets football season. And the first part of our show, usually the first 30 to 45 minutes of this program, will be spent on high school football. New coach at Beauregard High School, Rob Carter, will be on next. But we want to throw this trivia out there for you to mull over. So when we come back, you'll have a chance to win a Sports Blitz T-shirt. How many years in a row has the SEC had at least 2 teams in the preseason top 5 of the coaches poll? How many years in a row has the SEC had at least 2 teams in the preseason top 5 of the coaches poll?
And one little bit of news, if you're like me and you follow recruiting pretty avidly, then you'll be interested in this. Trent Thompson,
I just read that,
is going to announce his destination
August
next
12th.
week, and really, I mean, I think it's a foregone conclusion it's going to be Georgia. I think it's been that way the whole time. I mean, Alabama fans and Auburn fans and Clemson fans have all felt good at different points, but I think he's just toying with people. I'd be shocked if he goes anywhere but Georgia.
I just saw that while you were on the phone with Bob Kessling. So going to take a break. We come back. Rob Carter from Beauregard High School will join us. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR's and S&S Tire right after this.
Ever wondered what LMG can do for you? The possibilities are endless.
LMG offers custom apparel and promotional products, any type of signage and vehicle wraps, web design and internet marketing, video production, paper products, and more. Visit us online at www.leemarketing.net. With 3 locations to best serve you, Madison Street in Alexander City, Highway 280 in Dadeville, and Frederick Road in Auburn.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp. Texting while driving has recently become a real problem. In our office, we see many cases where texting has led to auto accidents and serious injuries. We would encourage all parents to speak with their children regarding the dangers of texting while driving. And remember, if you're in your car, waiting to send out or read that text message won't change your life, but distracted driving can.
This message brought to you by personal injury attorney Dane Sharp. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be provided is greater than that of other attorneys. CTE Small Engines has served East Alabama's lawn and power equipment needs with quality products from Echo, Husqvarna, and Kawasaki. But now, CTE has expanded to serve the entire state with full lines of Titan UTV. CTE Small Engines is Alabama's exclusive Titan dealer with full lines of the Scoot, Sniper, Explorer, and Recon series, featuring hybrid electric and gas combo with up to an 1100cc power package. See Alabama's exclusive Titan dealer, CTE Small Engines in Opelika next to Tigertown off I-85. Or shop our full inventory at ctesmallengines.com.
It's always something. Your car needs a new tire, tuition is due, it's down to the wire. Cheerleading outfits, soccer shoes, football pads, or annual dues. Nellie's in band, she needs a trombone. Good golly Molly, you need a loan. Jimmy broke his arm, he needs a cast. You need money, and you need it fast. When life comes at you, Always Money can help you through. It's easy, convenient, friendly, and fast. You'll get the cash you need the day you need it. So because it's always something, remember Always Money. How much can we loan you today?
At the Medicine Shop, we're dedicated to the idea that quality pharmacy care means more than just prompt prescriptions. When you come to the Medicine Shop Pharmacy, you'll be able to count on dependable care from a knowledgeable pharmacist. The Medicine Shop is the only compounding pharmacy in the area, and we offer the shingles vaccine year-round. Bring your prescriptions by the drive-thru on Airport Drive in Alex City, or input them online at www.medicineshop.com, or call them at 256-215-8014. The Medicine Shop, caring beyond prescriptions.
JR Sports Bar and Grill. Mondays, all you can eat fingers, $13.25. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, all you can eat wings, $12.25. Every day, kids in uniforms eat for $1.99. Alabama Street in Alexander City and Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live. Luke Robinson with you here, and very excited to welcome in Coach Rob Carter from Beauregard High School. Rob, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good.
Thanks so much for being with us. We really do appreciate it. I know this time of year, high school coaches are very, very busy.
Right. We just started school. The first day today for Lee County school system. So, yeah, it's been busy, been in the classroom, and then, of course, with the football practice, and then you got to do your duties at home when you get home.
Should say really quickly, this segment will take the place of our normal slot here, which is the Dane Sharp Attorney at Law Auburn Blitz. Tonight we've just had too many guests, so this will take the place of the Dane Sharp Attorney at Law Auburn Blitz. I want to thank Dane Sharp as Coach Carter is joining us on the Dane Sharp Attorney at Law hotline. You were named the coach and the athletic director on June 10th after being the interim coach once Coach Smitty Grider left Beauregard, and this is your first head coaching job, but you've been in coaching since 1993. So, Coach, how's it feel to finally be the head guy here?
It's great. It's a feeling of accomplishment, and then, of course, like I said, learning things from Coach Grider and taking over a program that I helped build, but he left at a good base and competitive nature in these kids, and so it's not like a first job where you got to try to rebuild something or make something that's there, and so that's been exciting to be, filling his footsteps and taking this program in a direction I like.
Coach, you've got a pretty famous former player as your defensive coordinator now, a former Auburn guy. Why don't you tell everybody about him?
Michael Lindsey. He's my defensive coordinator. Like you said, he had lettered at Auburn, played at Auburn. His father was a great coach in Georgia and then came to Alabama. So he's got great bloodlines. He's done an excellent job. One of the most things I'm impressed with is just his character, what he presents to the kids as a role model. But X's and O's, he's as good as any.
Beauregard is headed to 5A this season. What are your thoughts on the move up to 5A, and what are your thoughts on the new 7A classification in general?
I think it's fair. Definitely needed. I think the programs needed the football program needed to go to 7 classifications, or just so much difference in the size of those schools up in those. Of course, my brother's one of them, and he might be on there listening now saying, hey, we'd rather have 6 because it's hard to schedule. But, as far as us moving up, it's going to be a challenge. It's more challenging than 4A, obviously. The teams we'll face, I think our schedule, there's not any I can look on it, and we're going to play good in all of them to, be in them and win them.
Coach, you play Russell County on Halloween night this season. That's the place you got your start. Was that a coincidence, or is this something you set up?
No, it just happened to fall that way, setting it up that way. So, I guess you can make it a coincidence, but no, that's just the way it fell.
You have a pretty daunting schedule. You've got Central of Clay. I mentioned Russell County on there. You've got Dadeville as well, and Strawn. This Strawn team is absolutely no joke. What are your thoughts on the schedule?
I know it's tough. Where our focus is to go 1-0, one at a time. We can't afford to, I don't think, look beyond. I don't think any coach really wants to do that. But, Dadeville, hey, what have they won, about 30 straight games or, close to it in regular season. And, we'll start with them, and it's going to be a tough opponent. They're a rival for us. We play them in about every sport, have through the years, and that's the one we'll focus on. But our region is, starts after that with a Sylacauga and a Talladega. And like you say, we got to take a long trip to Strom, which has had an excellent team in the past few years. I don't know much about them. Then we go to Shelby County or Shelby County at home, and then Clay Central. We know the history behind the two schools that combined and what they've done the last couple of years. And, of course, Tallahassee is probably our biggest rivalry in our region because we played them, and that's always a battle. And then Marbury, I don't know much about, if anything, and then, of course, Russell County. So it's going to be a tough schedule just for, we're coming off losing some good seniors, a good class, but we're reloading.
Coach, one of the things I say is always most difficult to do in the coaching profession is to follow success. You don't ever want to be the guy who follows Bear Bryant. You want to be the guy who maybe follows Mike Shula. But for you, you're going to be following in the footsteps of a program that's gone 38-11 since 2010, a really successful time. Are you feeling a lot of pressure already?
No, I don't think so. As coaches, put pressure on ourselves because we're competitive. I appreciate, following Smitty. Of course, I was part of that staff and responsible for helping him, reach those records. But we didn't approach it as, hey, we've got to beat his record or anything different. We're continuing the competitive nature of this program, and I just happen to be in charge at the moment. So, I hope I can stay there a long time. But I've got we retained a lot of staff that was part of that. So, we really didn't look back and say, hey, we're competing against a record of what Smitty had. We just want to get these kids to be competitive and play hard as they can and get as many wins as we can.
Well, and your brother is Tim Carter of Auburn High School. Any talk of a possible brother versus brother matchup sometime?
Yeah, when we play golf at Christmas or something like that, that's our brother versus brother. Right now, I don't think, we're able to step in there and compete at that level of 7A, because we just came into 5A, but it could be, as numbers go up, and I feel like we got a couple years, in this higher classification. You never know.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for being with us tonight. Again, I know you're very busy this time of year. We wish you guys the best of luck. I know you've got a tough schedule, but Beauregard, they're going to be very tough for people to deal with this year.
Let's hope so, and I appreciate your call.
We'll have you on again soon, Coach. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
That was Coach Rob Carter of Beauregard High School. His team looks to be very exciting this year. Beauregard has really made a quantum leap over the last few years, going 38-11 since 2010. This is a program that's got big things ahead of it. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sports Blitz Live.
What is LMG? It's a team of professionals with the tools to create a successful marketing plan to help your business grow. LMG has successful designs that get results for the individual and the business. We provide signs of all types, screen printing and embroidery, promotional products, web design, audio and video production, and much more. LMG has 3 locations to serve you in Alex City, Dadeville, and the Auburn-Opelika area. Call us at 888-533-6758.
Show Enough Barbecue. Since 1990, we've been serving you the finest barbecue in Alexander City. Gerald believes in cooking fresh meat daily, and the secret to that is, I'm not going to tell you. Show Enough is just not about barbecue, but also known for fresh vegetables and homemade pies. That's where I come in. I'm Linda Sanford, better known as the Pie Lady. We also do catering. For more information, give us a call at 234-7675.
When it comes to health care, Russell Medical Center has always been my choice. When my doctor recommended I have my procedure there, I knew it was the right decision. He knows the kind of expertise, quality, and care I've come to expect. When surgery was necessary, I knew I would be in good hands, and it felt comfortable being treated in a facility so close to home.
Russell Medical Center. Your health, your community, your hospital.
Have you heard about Walls Tire and Auto? Walls Tire and Auto is a full-service garage with over 40 years combined experience in the shop. Let the professional, experienced staff at Walls Tire and Auto provide you with any service your car needs. You already know they handle tires of all sizes and brands, but did you know if your car breaks down, the friendly staff of Walls Tire and Auto will pick you up, make the repairs, and deliver your car back to you? Stop by and see them today. They're right off Highway 280, about a mile past Lake Hill Bridge, or call at 256-825-2628.
Hey, Jerry. Nice yard. I bet this dead wood really hits home for you. The only thing getting trimmed around here are property values.
Does it ever feel like your yard work is taunting you?
Where you going? The nail salon's the other way.
Take back your yard with professional-grade equipment from Echo. Reliable, easy to use, and backed by a 5-year warranty. Echo. Get serious.
Get your SRN 225 trimmer at Satterfield's, Highway 280, Alexander City.
When you need plumbing service, call on the professionals at A&M Plumbing LLC. For over 20 years, our mission has been to provide the best possible service available in the industry, and we specialize in solving difficult problems. We offer a wide range of services, such as installation, service, repair, and replacement of common fixtures, water heaters, toilets, faucets, drains, sewer lines, and septic tank pumping and cleaning services. Unlike many companies, our septic tank services include field line testing. Our knowledgeable staff will be happy to answer any of your questions, so call A&M Plumbing LLC today.
This segment of Sports Blitz brought to you by Lee Marketing Group. For signage, tees, web design, and more, call on LMG today at 256-825-0197.
Welcome back to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. Brett Pritchard, Luke Robinson here. Final segment of the show. It's been a great show. I want to thank our guests, Kendall Graveman, Bob Kessling, and then Coach Carter there from Beauregard High School for being on our program tonight. Again, not a lot of time to take your phone calls out there tonight. Some of the shows are like that when we're stacked with guests, but we appreciate gotten some tweets and some Facebook comments out there. We appreciate all the support and everybody watching out there. And we want to thank another sponsor on Sports Blitz Live now, Rutaliza Anderson and Cruz Planners over in the Lee County area, and she will sponsor a Lee County Player of the Week every week. And look, all of you out there in the state, from your area of the state, we would love to highlight a player from your area, from wherever you are. Well, again, we know that we've had a lot of calls from every corner of this state and everywhere in between about Players of the Week. And we do that on the HSA Radio Network Scoreboard Show every Friday night. We have regional Players of the Week. So this week's Rutaliza Anderson Cruz Planners Player of the Week is Lee Scott golfer Davis Thompson. He won the male 14-15 division of the 2014 SJ GT Wind Lakes Junior Classic on Tuesday. Davis shot an even par 144 over the two-day tournament, a 74 and a 70. Thompson's 2 under 70 on Tuesday earned him the Dustin Johnson Golf School low final round award. Auburn's Addison Nix finished second with a 146. So congratulations to Davis Thompson on being named the Lee County Player of the Week. And again, we want to thank Rutaliza Anderson and Cruise Planners. So if you're out there trying to plan a cruise or vacation, give Rutaliza Anderson a call today. So, Luke, we're getting dangerously close to finishing up our SEC preview. 3 more teams down. Next Tuesday we'll have 3 more teams, and then we'll end with Auburn and Alabama, of course.
You know, I was just listening to that, the Dustin Johnson Golf School. That's probably a bad time to talk about the Dustin Johnson Golf School, considering what he's been, the microscope he's been under.
I know, but unfortunately, that's what he won.
Hey,
so,
look,
I mean,
it's somebody. If you're going to have a tournament, somebody's going to win it.
That's exactly right. So, but again, you know, coming down the stretch here in college football, preparing for the season, you know, some of these SEC teams. When are we going to see the momentum change for a Tennessee or a Florida or a Georgia? I mean, and I know everybody's saying, well, what about Georgia? They've been at the top. Well, they have, but they just can't get over the hump.
Yeah.
Are you content with 10 or 11 wins? I mean, obviously it's a great season, but you're not winning anything. You're not putting anything in your trophy case.
No, yeah, I've been very critical of Georgia, and they've had a lot of problems. I mean, I know Mark Richt keeps coming out and saying we don't have a character problem over here, but it sure seems a lot of guys get booted from their campus. And you make all the jokes you want about where they end up and whatever. Bottom line is Georgia recruits them. And so there they are. And Auburn's playing for championships. LSU's playing for championships. Certainly Alabama's playing for championships. Florida has been as well. Tennessee's won a national championship, throwing them in there in the BCS era. So where's Georgia? They ain't even played for one.
They never played for one in the whole entire run of the
best
BCS.
season they had, they ended up playing Hawaii in the Sugar Bowl. They blew Hawaii's doors off, and it was an undefeated Hawaii team. But it was Hawaii.
But it had another disappointment that caused them to miss out on being the national championship game. Next week it'll be LSU and Florida up, and then again Auburn and Alabama the following week, and then we'll be ready to go. So LSU and Florida, the Gators and the Tigers next week. Les Miles. This is an interesting year for this LSU team. So much attention on Alabama and Auburn. Obviously, Mississippi State and Ole Miss garnering some attention. It's scary that a lot of people aren't talking about LSU.
It is, but you know, LSU could have a starting true freshman quarterback, a starting true freshman running back, and a leading receiver who's also a true freshman this year. So whenever you've got that much youth on the team, it sort of tends to run people off.
And I swear I didn't do this on purpose, but actually after LSU, Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina, I didn't intentionally mean to leave them out.
You're going to leave somebody
about Rodney
off.
Dangerfield, no respect with Georgia, and I'll leave them out. But actually it'll be LSU, Florida next week. the week after. Actually, what I'm trying to do is speed up the start of college football. I'm trying to get there. But Georgia, South Carolina the following week, and then Auburn, Alabama the week of the 26th, and then that'll be kickoff that Saturday. So we're up against the end of the show. Luke's been a great show. Thank all of our guests for being on. We'll be back with you next Tuesday. For our producer, Justin Clayton, Luke Robinson, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we enjoyed it. We'll see you next week.
Auburn Urgent Care, located on South College in Auburn and on Enterprise Drive in Opelika near Tigertown, offers convenient solutions to your health care and occupational medicine needs. We offer workman's compensation injury care, and we have a certified DOT medical examiner on staff. It's not about speed, it's about the quality of care. We're open 7 days a week, 7:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekends in Auburn, and 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday in Opelika. Walk-ins are welcome. Auburn Urgent Care. 334-821-3221 in Auburn or 334-749-9191 in Opelika. Visit us online at auburnurgentcare.com. Proud of our past, confident in our future. And for your primary health care needs, visit Family Health Clinic at 1456 Opelika Road in Auburn. 334-826-8951. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
It's always something. Your car needs a new tire, tuition is due, it's down to the wire. Cheerleading outfits, soccer shoes, football pads, or annual dues. Nellie's in band, she needs a trombone. Good golly Molly, you need a loan. Jimmy broke his arm, he needs a cast. You need money, and you need it fast. When life comes at you, Always Money can help you through. It's easy, convenient, friendly, and fast. You'll get the cash you need the day you need it. So because it's always something, remember Always Money. How much can we loan you today?
Hello? Yeah, man, I just picked some up. Wait a second. I think I see some cheaper ice. Hold on one moment. What's going on here?
Man, just get my ice at Twice Ice like I always do.
Well, look what I paid almost $3 for.
Man, you can get a 16-pound bag of ice or fill up your cooler with 20 pounds for $1.50. This is the only place to come.
Just pull up to one of our convenient locations in Alex City, Dadeville, Sylacauga, or Childersburg and fill up your cooler. Lowest price, convenience. That's what you get with Twice the Ice.
Tallapoosa Ford on Highway 280 in Alex City has delivered new Fords for 35 years. Need fuel efficiency with style? See the best selection of 13 Ford Fusions delivering 38 MPG in a new stylish package. Check out the Hybrid C Max crossover now on the lot, offering roomy comfort with an amazing 47 MPG, rating highway and city.
Hello, this is Jeff Smith with Tallapoosa Ford. I'd like to welcome you to our dealership and experience our low-pressure sales. With non-commissioned salespeople, our sales force is here to serve you.
Visit Tallapoosa Ford Highway 280 Alex City. If we don't have it, we'll get it, guaranteed.